As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elsmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 48 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett, and I am here as always with my co-host and newly sub 20 5k runner Andy. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I think I might demand that introduction everywhere I go now. So yeah, good man. So yeah, Christmas was good fun and got the perfect little Christmas present with my 1938 last week. So yeah, just absolutely still can't quite believe how well it went. But yeah, feeling really good. So pleased with that. And it's always nice to finish the year with a PB, isn't it, Brett?
It is, yes, it's lovely.
So yeah, we're both kind of we're both loving our 5Ks at the moment, because yeah, I'm sure we will get into this quite heavily in a bit. But yeah, you had a impromptu.
Yeah, I was inspired
5K.
by you. I was inspired after seeing
inspired / FOMO.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. But seeing you smash it on the Saturday, I was like, man, that's awesome. And then I was thinking about Telford and the fact that I had got a surprise PB, and I just thought, hang on, 5k is the only distance I haven't tried to go full out on this year. So let's do it on Christmas Day, last chance saloon.
Wicked.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah,
well,
we shall talk about all of these. Yeah,
looking forward to hearing all about that, because I had a very different Christmas Day experience. We went to Worcester Woods and met Sam Blackmore up there, and Rich was up there at the end as well, and there's a few others that I saw.
Wasn't there 1,000 people there?
Exactly 1,000 park runners, which is madness, because you could argue that's too many. So there was a little bit. Well, I am actually definitely going to argue that is too many, because there was a massive bushy park vibe at the start and the end, because Sam and I started towards the back because we had Daisy with us, and I got the sub 20, so I'm on the beach. I've retired now. I've got nothing. I've got basically I've got nowhere to be anytime soon. I definitely don't need to run quick anymore. So we started off at the back and had a little gentle jog. Sam, by the way, is wearing hot pants. Luckily, he had some leggings on underneath.
Yeah, I did see that in his photo. Yes, I was it on your Instagram as well, where you said 1,000 people ran this parkrun, 999 weren't wearing hot pants.
Yeah, but Sam was the only one in hot pants. So that was quite good. But what was funny, I don't know if you can remember Worcester Woods, but you do the start and you run up a hill, and then you run, because of the new course now, we have to add, I think, because they've changed the course, they were like, oh God, we've lost 100 meters or something like that of the course. Yeah. So we now have to do this weird thing where we run past the finish line the wrong way, and then you do a hard hairpin right turn along the path. So we did that, but Sam and I literally had to walk that. We had about 2 minutes of walking because it started backing up there, because it was one of those things where it was like there was 1,000 people trying to get into a path that's 2 people wide.
Yeah.
So we had to walk that bit, and then the finish line had bushy vibes as well, because I tried, that last little finish bit up past the lake, and it's uphill. I was like, right. I did a little thing where I was like, right, 3, 2, 1, go, 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 Daisy, go, go, go. And she was like a bullet, and she was like carrying me up the hill, and we were overtaking all these people. It was brilliant. But then the novelty massively wore off because I had to just walk the last 40 meters because there was a massive queue, so I couldn't quite finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a very different experience probably to how your Christmas Day parkrun was.
In comparison, I've just looked, and Ara Valley had 530 Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's awesome though, isn't it? Like, it's awesome how many people come for their parkrun on a Christmas Day.
Oh yeah,
and I just think it's just so cool because it's ingrained into, it's like a staple now of people's Christmas Day, and that's mine. It's a staple of my Christmas Day now.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it falls at a good time, like 9 o'clock on Christmas Day morning.
Yeah.
It's a decent time, isn't it? I mean, not everyone's going to want to do it because, Christmas Eve shenanigans and that. A lot of people say that Christmas Eve is the New Year's Eve, don't they? So a lot of people have got hangovers and probably don't fancy a parkrun on a Christmas Day. And maybe they've already got Christmas Day planned early morning and they've got things to do, turkeys put in the oven, etc. But if you can get out of the house for an hour or two, if you've never done it, next year, go to your local Christmas Day parkrun. It's brilliant. Yeah. It's brilliant.
I absolutely love it. It's one of the highlights of the year, big time. Everybody's in good spirits. It's it's just a wicked way to spend Christmas morning. You haven't got to spend too long there. You get the run done and you can spend 5 minutes afterwards, or you can spend an hour afterwards talking to people. It's completely up to you. But just the whole sense and then the feel of that parkrun is just, it's wicked.
It's crazy. It's really good fun. And everyone's, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have come in some sort of Santa-based fancy dress or something like that. And it's just, everyone's just in good spirits, as you can imagine. So, and if the weather's good, it makes it feel even better. If it was not so good weather, might take the edge off slightly, but I'd still go. I'd definitely still go.
Yeah, and me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was quite misty in Redditch. What was it like where you were?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I saw on your video. But no, it was sunny, foggy-ish. It kept sort of changing, but it wasn't too bad. But it obviously was a little bit muddy, but not too bad. But yeah, good. A lot of fun was had. A lot of fun was.
Definitely. Yeah, one of the girls I was talking to afterwards, Jo, she'd dragged her son along, even though he'd been out on the night before on Christmas Eve, and she was like, "I don't care whether you go out or not, you're coming down to Parkrun." So we ran Parkrun. We were stood at the finish, and she saw him cross the finish line, and then wasn't very well afterwards.
Oh no, we've all been there, my friend. I know the feeling very well. But I tell you what, though, nothing embodies the spirit of Christmas more than keep left. When the first few runners are coming through and they're not in the mood to get slowed down by the masses. Keep left. Merry Christmas, mate. What was funny was about I don't know, halfway through our parkrun, we haven't even done the first lap by now. Someone goes, "All right, Andy," and I didn't notice who it was, and it was Merv who helped pace me for the sub 20. Yeah. And just behind him was a young Rich Evans.
Oh wow!
So they were running together, and they were probably on for about probably about 19 and a half.
Just to cut in quickly, just in case anybody doesn't know who Rich Evans is, Beardy Rich.
Beardy Rich, sorry. The beautiful Bearded Rich. So Beardy Rich was there, and I didn't even realise Beardy Rich was there. So I started following Merv, and then I thought, I recognise that red hat and those red shorts. And I was following Rich, and I was
make Parkrun great again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. It was in full Trump gear, and he And they were clipping along really quite fast. And Rich ended up getting in, and Merv, 1920-ish.
Oh, wow.
And on no joke, 3 days after my sub 20, I kept up with them for about, because the good thing is, it's a bit like having an ambulance escort. You know, when everyone moves out of the way for an ambulance and you think, I'm going to follow this ambulance.
Yeah.
So I don't have to queue. It was like that. They paved the way. So I thought, and when I've got Daisy with me as well, because she'd already pulled over for a blooming poo and a wee. So we're already having to overtake all the people that we'd overtaken. So I thought, yes, follow Merv and Rich again. And I followed them, no joke, about 500 meters, and I couldn't do any more because of that 5K I had in my leg. I was like, no, you're right, lads.
Yeah.
So you should have seen the state of my splits from Christmas Day Parkrun. My first K was 8 minutes, and my middle K was 4:30. So it was like twice as quick my middle K was when I was trying to follow Rich and Merv. So that was quite humorous. But yeah. Nothing says Merry Christmas at Parkrun like keep left, does it?
Yeah, brilliant.
So that was quite
fast runners.
Fast runners coming through. So yeah,
brilliant.
But
My Christmas Day. Yeah, I just, it's become a Christmas tradition now. If I don't go and do Parkrun on Christmas morning, it wouldn't feel like Christmas. So
yeah. It's good though, isn't it? It's just like, I don't know. It's just something magical about it. And I suppose when this time of year as well, there's like, unless Christmas is on a Saturday, there's like 3 or 4 parkruns in a real quick succession, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you've got like, where are we now? Wednesday is Christmas Day, isn't it? And New Year's Day. So we've got Wednesday, Saturday at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah.
Or Saturday, Wednesday. So it's like 4 or 5 or something like that within a week or something like that, 10 days.
Did they have a little bit of a celebration after the park run at Worcester as well? Because Arrow Valley core team, they always organise people to bring down some treats. So there was like mince pies and cakes and sweets and chocolates, and they had mulled wine and hot chocolate as well, if you wanted it.
Well, if there was, I didn't see any of it because I came about 700th. So I think the mince pies had all gone, because I don't actually think that might be an attendance record or not far off, because I know Worcester normally gets about 500 to 600 on an average Saturday, and whether it's done over 1,000, I'm sure it probably has, but I don't think there was anything going on afterwards. That's it. My only gripe with Worcester Woods that lets it down is the sign that says Worcester Parkrun. They put it on the side of like a great big orange road traffic accident style bollard, and it looks so bad. And they've got it in front of the Portaloos, and it is it is like Instagram versus reality. Like it's not even, you can't even take a good angle of it. It looks awful from every angle. So yeah, your finish line sprints, I do like that, are always in front of the Portaloos.
Yeah, brilliant.
And then if you want your picture by the sign, it's always on a great big massive high vis orange bollard, and it's just like So brilliant. it's so in front of the council building as well. It's the most Worcester thing you'll ever see. It's brilliant. But apart from that, the parkrun's fantastic.
Yeah. But at the finish at Arrow Valley, they had a table full of stuff and everything, and Rachel was doing mulled wine and hot chocolate out of like a camper van on the stove and stuff, which was wicked. But I did want to say I caught him on the video, but we finished the run, and then I went, I'm just going to go for a warm down with some of the guys, and Adam Neal was there, and I said, Ad, do you want to come on the warm down? And he went, no, but you go for warm down, I'll still be here afterwards. I went, okay, cool. And so I left him by the cake table. So did a lap of the lake, so 1.5 miles, came back, and when I got back to that same area, he was still stood in exactly the same place, right in front of the cake table.
Crumbs all around his mouth. Yeah. What a legend.
Yeah.
Do you know, speaking of Arrow Valley as well, I've got no idea whether he listens to our podcast or not, but the run director or one of the run directors at Arrow Valley is Andy Goldsby, one of the nicest people ever to grace God's green earth. Absolute beautiful man, such a nice guy.
Definitely.
And I've promised Andy that I will come because he was so kind to me when we did our sub 20 last week. And he even gave me a course recce, and he's like, we might have to go to a temporary finish and start because we've got a bit of a puddle situation. I was like, you don't need to tell me all this. That's so kind of you to tell me all this, because he really wanted. He was rooting for me, and he really wanted my run to go really well.
Yeah.
Rather than come at it from a point of view like, wow, you YouTubers are coming here and you're going to get in the way and you're making a video and you're going to be a nightmare and a nuisance for all the locals. He was the opposite. He was so accommodating. And I've said to Andy, I was like, thank you so much for having us on the day. I promise you I'm going to come back and I'm going to volunteer because I want to be a part of your core team, because the Arrow Valley lot, it's just such a good parkrun. It's definitely one of the, and I feel that about Worcester to some degree. It's got a similar sort of feel about it. The same people seem to volunteer every week. Yes. You see the same folks, and it's just a happy core of volunteers. And I definitely want to go and volunteer for Andy and the team at Arrow Valley. So that's going to be one of my New Year's resolutions, to do a bit more parkrun volunteering, I think.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Good. Yeah, so shall we get into the meat of this podcast, which is your sub 20 attempt?
Well,
I'm not even going to say attempt. Your sub 20 parkrun.
Well, yeah, we all know it's not quite an attempt anymore because we've already told you what happened. But so everyone knows the drill. I wanted to go and do 1959 or quicker at a parkrun that wasn't one of the 6 that I'd already done. That was my stupid rule I'd made up. I had to run a new course for each attempt. And I was going to go back and do Worcester Pitchcroft, but I thought, well, no, I've got to honour the code. I've got to honour the rules. So I thought, which one I haven't done? Arrow Valley. And then...
Because I would say Pitchcroft is probably faster than Arrow Valley. It's flatter. It's probably a quicker course. There's just that bit across the race course where it's all the like wood chips and everything. That bit isn't the best, but the rest of it is probably faster. Whereas at Arrow Valley, you've got a few ups and downs, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a couple of sections where it does sort of clog up with when if you lap people, so it does get a little bit congested at some areas. Including the start as well, but that's just because of the nature of there being so many fast people at Arrow Valley, I think.
Yeah.
And Worcester Pitchcroft, you've got 2 options where you can start. So the start at Pitchcroft isn't normally a little bit less congested. However, decided to do Arrow Valley. I'm pretty glad I did, because you had recruited a little pacing team from Telford.
Yeah.
I think you'd done that just in case I chickened out and said I didn't want to do it. And you thought, well, look, I've got Ryan and Harry. They're coming down, especially from Kenilworth.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't not do it now.
Yeah.
You've come all this way. You've got to do it now. And Merv joined us as well, because he, I can't remember if I don't know how he found out that we were doing it, but I think he wrote on my Strava, I think I might come and join you at Arrow Valley. So I was like, yeah, come and join the squad. And we had Ad and Dan, who run slightly ahead, didn't they? Because they did 1918 and 1924. I think they did.
They both got PBs that day.
Yeah, they did.
So
they did.
You inspired them and spurred them on to go and run their PBs. So
so that was pretty awesome. From them.
So so we had so Ad and Dan, and then Ryan Baker, Harry Purwell, and Merv Wignall. Is it?
Yeah.
Were the pacing team pretty much for.
So just to put into perspective as well, I know you're 17, 15 now, 5K runner, and Harry is about 16, 40 something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And Ryan is low 16s, isn't he? Is he like low?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So these guys, including Brett, are way faster than me. And I've said this before, and Merv as well. Merv's done, I think, sub 19 before as well.
I don't think he's quite gone sub 19 yet, or is it no, or is it sub 18 he was trying for?
Well, he seemed to run fairly comfortably a 20-minute park run.
Yes,
If
yeah,
he's never done sub 19, he seemed to be fairly comfortable at the pace we were running at. So maybe he hit it well, the pain well.
Because he's asked me to pace him at some point, and I thought it was for a sub 19, but it might be a sub 18. I'm not sure.
Well, I might just do a quick bit of Strava stalking then and see if I can find out. But my point is that having fast people around you really, really helps, especially if you're going for a time. And I know people might go, oh, well, it's a cheap shot, isn't it? Because you got loads of people just to help you, and you were never obviously going to fail if you weren't doing it on your own. But
you've still got to run the thing.
Yeah. And as you said before, you've still got to literally, my legs have still got to do.
Are you going to say that Kipchoge isn't the world's best marathon runner because he has pacers in the marathon?
Yeah.
Come on. Well, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen isn't one of the greatest 1500 meter runners just because he has pacers in the Diamond League to pull him round. Yeah, right. Yeah. You're not going to say that. That's part of running.
Two runners I've been compared to, actually, because of my Kipchoge V, and I'm the Bromsgrove Ingebrigtsen. So we've got actually more in common than I think with me and Elliot and Jakob. Yeah. But yeah, so you basically said, don't even consider doing a 5K PB attempt without me.
But basically, yeah.
So I wasn't even allowed.
I said I want to be there when you break it. I don't care where it is. I'm going to be there.
I've got a little confession. I nearly did a 5K PB attempt on my own. And I would have the week or two before Valencia, but there was a storm. It was either Dara or Storm Bert.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to a course I've never been to before where nobody would have known me. And I just would have tried my best to do it. But it was stormy and I bottled it. It was Gloucester. I was going to go to Gloucester City or Gloucester Park. I think it's called Gloucester North. No, it's just called Gloucester. I don't know. And I was going to do that. And I was going to do it on my own and come back and check in on the podcast and go, ta-da. But then I started thinking, what if I do it and I don't do it? But anyway, so I didn't do it. I think that voice got in my head and I ended up not doing it. So, so we turned up on Arrow Valley. And
sorry, just to stop you, I've just done some stalking of Merv and I found his what's called his parkrun stats, and his fastest parkrun is 19:20, which he did in October this year at Arrow Valley.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So Merv looked more comfortable than he probably felt then, because we only ran 15 seconds faster, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
If he did 19:20 or 19:21, whatever it was. So 18 seconds off his PB. So maybe he was going for a PB as well. I don't know. But so we did a warm up and got into the start pen. And before you know it, you're quite far back, aren't you, at Arrow Valley, if you're not at the very front? Because it's one of those parkruns where the start is the same direction as where the briefing is. So everyone walks towards you. And we got there sort of 5 minutes earlier than everyone else. And we thought, right, we're going to be in the first or second row here. But everyone sort of does that thing where they kind of just squeeze in and think, okay, I feel too awkward about trying to wriggle my way to the back, so I'll just stand here.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're in like sardines and you're a good few rows back, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that does make me wonder whether a chip-timed 5K event might gain you a couple of extra seconds.
Yeah,
because you're probably already running at 5K pace when you cross that timing map, and there's probably no finish funnel to worry about.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something to think about, because I've never raced a 5K. I know you obviously wanted to do Cheshire. Are you still in for that, by the way?
Yeah. So because it got cancelled, they said we could it didn't get cancelled, got pushed back a week, and I couldn't do the new date. So it was either you could get a refund, or you could defer your entry to the next one. So I've entered for the summer one, which is, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks after London. So I'm hoping that same as you, after Valencia, my legs feel a bit better by 3 weeks after the marathon, and I can go for it.
Well, I must admit as well, my legs felt pretty good. I did this mile time trial, which was a few days before the 5K, which I might have talked about last week. I can't remember if we covered it. I think we probably did. And afterwards, I felt great, felt all right. The week before, I went to track. Day after, I could hardly walk. So I was like, okay, that was too soon. You know, a week after a marathon doing a speed session, bad idea.
Yeah, I did say, didn't I, that after a race, they say a mile per day before you actually do a hard effort again. And you decided a week later that you were going to go and run reps around a track.
Well, going into that, I didn't feel bad at all. My legs felt okay. I'd done a couple of, easy zone 2E kind of things and felt great. So I thought, yeah, let's try and do a speed session. And then 6 reps out of 8 in, I thought, well, my calves are ruined now. I might as well just do 8 reps. They're going to hurt whether I do 6 or 8. And then the day after, I thought, what have I done? Because it was kettlebell level pain.
Yeah,
like in my calves. I thought I'd seriously injured myself. I told you, didn't I, at Telford? I've torn. I was like, what's it feel like to get a calf tear, just in case? Is it a calf? I genuinely thought I'd torn my calf. Genuinely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was worried, but then I did this mile time trial. Unfortunately, I woke up the day after, felt good. But yeah, so should we talk about my K splits?
Yeah,
we'll talk you through my Ks.
Just quickly as well, on the start line, we must also mention that we had Mac with us, and we also had Sam Bauer with us as well.
Yeah, I didn't know when the right time to drop those 2 guys in would have been, but they were also on the 20 train as well. Mac has been aiming, his progress has been rapid.
Oh, so mate, yeah.
Not long ago, he was running 23, 24s. And now he's like trying to get his sub 20 as well.
Yeah, he's knocking on the door, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. So he came with us as well. And Sam has run a couple or 3 or maybe 4 this year of sub 20s, because he was sub 20 sort of pre-pandemic, or just as lockdown hit. He got well into his running, and he was running 127, 128 for the half. He was maybe even very close to a sub 40 10K, and he did a low 18 or mid 18 5K as well. But since then, he's kind of not reached those times, and he's on his way back to it. So those 2 lads joined us as well. And yeah, the first K went, I thought, quite well. And I was just thinking, just get through this first mile or this first kilometer, and don't be panicking. If you're panicking, you're going to be in trouble, because you can't choose whether you panic or not. I was just thinking to myself, just try and stay relaxed. And my K actually ticked over at 4:03, and we were obviously trying to set off for about 3:55 pace, weren't we? Yeah. So I don't know if that was just we're all being a bit cautious, or we're all a bit boxed in, or maybe it's because I was 2 or 3 seconds behind you, because I always run off the pace when you pace me anyway, because I can never catch up with you. Because I tell you what it is, every time I catch up with you, you run away from me again. I think, oh God, I have to surge again. Before I know it, I'm running world record pace. So I always find that when you're pacing me, I just prefer just to watch you. It sounds weird, but just keep you as a target. And yes, if I'm feeling good, I'll try and catch you up and we'll have a chat. But I'm very rarely feeling good when I'm running next to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were sort of off a second or 2, because in the actual video I did, I used your splits, which might be misleading, because I didn't actually think your splits aren't going to be my splits, because you were always a second or 2 ahead of me. So when I said you did a mile in 6:23, it might have been 6:25 for me.
Yeah, and, well, I'm just looking at your splits now in miles, because obviously, because my Strava is set in miles, even though your workout says the 5K splits, I've also got mile splits on your watch. So
was it 6:26?
It was 6:29, your first mile.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that might be right, because My first kilometre Garmin split was 4:03. So
Yeah. So So my first mile was a 6:24, but it says yours was a 6:29. So therefore, you were 5 seconds behind. I don't think you were that far behind.
no, because 5 seconds at 5K pace is, 30 meters, isn't it? That's quite a bit. I don't think I was that far behind, especially after 1 mile. So there must have been something wrong there. But and those trees at Arrow Valley, I've got a lot to answer for, haven't they?
Yes.
Everyone loses their head about GPS on that back straight. But then the second K, we picked it up, and I remember you saying at mile 2, we'd picked it up because my second K here, I've got 3:59, so that's bang on the money. But at the moment, I'm still 3 seconds over. I'm still running a 20-minute 3 seconds here.
Yeah, so my second mile was a 6:19, but your second mile was a 6:20. So that's pretty much the same. So you did speed up definitely in that second mile.
Yeah, because 2 miles is just over 3K, isn't it? So my third K I got here is 3:58. So 2 and 3 were 3:59 and 3:58. So that's pretty tidy pacing from you boys, as you'd expect. And now I'm pretty much bang on pace, or maybe 1 second over. And then we hit the second lap, and now I'm struggling. Now I'm needing not a miracle, but I'm realizing, okay, this is not going to be quite as straightforward as I was thinking when I was sat behind my computer this time yesterday, thinking, we can do a sub 20. No worries. And then that 4th kilometre, I mean, that's the dreaded, for any of us that work in Ks, that's probably the worst possible thing to do in a 5K, because that 4th kilometre drags so hard. I don't know if it's the same for you guys in miles, but maybe that middle mile or whatever you call it. But for us, that 4th kilometre was just disgraceful. And I managed to get round that in 4:01. Yeah. So I managed to, and I was hanging back a little bit by now, and you and Ryan had started to give me like little bollockins by now. So I thought, okay, I'm in trouble here.
Well, on the back straight, past when you're along the back of the lake, I said, "Come on, Andy, I want you to be on my shoulder by the end of this path." And on your video, it's brilliant because you go, "He's getting away from me." And Ryan goes, no, come on, you've got it.
Ryan says, "Come on, we're catching him. Let's just try and catch him." I said, "He's running away from me." A little pathetic little whimper. And Ryan's like, "Come on, sort yourself out, you prat." Then, with that last K, I don't think I realised, because when you're getting paced, you don't need to look at your watch, and it's probably pointless to do that anyway. Because as you've said to me before, all you'll do is frighten yourself and talk yourself into slowing down. Yeah. Because you won't like the numbers you're seeing. Everything will seem too hard, and you'll probably just slow down. So with that last K, I knew, because I saw that last split come up around about that comment, which is about a K to go. He's like, "He's running away from me." And then I knew from then, I didn't know, but I thought, remember your training. That's what was going through my head. Yeah. Don't do a bushy. Don't do. That's what I was really hoping, is to avoid a bushy. I didn't want to come in at like 20:01 or 20:02. So, I'm still obviously not experienced enough in this distance in the 5K yet to know really how to race and how to run a 5K. But I know that seconds count. And every time you think, have I just dropped off the pace? Yes, you have. Because if you're thinking about it, you definitely have. Yeah. And that second or two that you might have dropped off the pace could have been the difference. So I was trying to just remember the turnover of the legs. And I was just trying to just say to myself, just stay in the game. Just stay in the game. And then I remember Ryan said 2 laps of the track left. And I was like, oh, that sounds so far. And because I've started to do track now, I know I've got a 3 minute, what do you call it in me? Yeah. I've got a 90-second 800 in me. No, not 90-second. I've got 3 minutes of an 800 in me,
Yeah,
and I know I've got a
90-second
90-second
laps.
400. Yeah. So and I know I've got a 400 as well. Having said that, having just done 4K before it, not the easiest thing to do. And by now, my breathing was bad. My legs were feeling heavy.
Yeah.
And I just thought, right, just keep following the lads. And that's what I did. Remember.
And those musical notes were coming up, that dreaded little slope that turns into a hill at the end of.
Yeah. I think it just all went blurry then. I tell you what, I had a little blackout, pretty much. That's what it felt like over those musical notes between going up and over that. Because when I came up and over it, all I could see, I didn't hear until I watched the video back, you shouting, "Come on, you better be in front of me by the time we finish." I didn't even hear you say that. All I did hear was Ad Hill. Is Ad Hill, isn't it?
Yeah.
He waited because he'd already finished about 20 minutes before us. And he was going, and he said to me, "You've got to go now, go."
Yeah.
And you can hear him on the video say that. And I thought, well, okay, if a fast runner's telling me that, they know that this is probably going to be tight. And then the finish line sprint, which I always think, oh, that's not that long. When I do that Arrow Valley finish line sprint, it feels like 800 meters, that little pathway. And I was just like, right, let's just go as hard as we can. And didn't even know what time I was on for at this point.
No.
And I just got through, absolutely smashed poor Harry and the lad who was in front of him.
Yeah.
Because they started to slow down because the people in front of them had slowed down in the funnel. So I just went straight into them. I was like, sorry, lads. I basically jumped on their backs and then hit that stop button and didn't even look.
Yeah.
And then you sort of reassuringly held me in your arms like a babe in your arms. And I thought that felt good. I think he thinks we've done it. That's what my first thought was.
Yeah. Well, on your split, your third mile was exactly the same pace as your second mile, apparently. So
Was it?
you ran a 6:29 and then a 6:20 and a 6:20.
Yeah.
On your mile splits. But it's so strange compared to mine. So that's your workout.
3 miles, yeah.
So your splits, you've got your 5K markers at the top, and then you've got your 3 mile splits. So it looks like you've done a progressive one in the miles, but in the kilometers, you've gone right up and down, which is odd. But then if you look at my mile splits, those are my mile splits for the same run.
Isn't it funny? Because you were only ever about, I don't know, 5 meters ahead of me at max.
Yeah.
So what are your miles? 6:25?
6:24, 6:19, 6:15, and then 5:59 for the last 0.1.
I'll just have them then. I'll have them. I love them because they sound better. But I'm just really pleased with the way it went, and then getting through that funnel and seeing. I don't know if you have this with your watch or the way you think about things. I imagine in the half marathon, if you look at your average pace and it says 5 something, you're thinking, okay, we're rolling now. That's the way I feel about a 5K when it begins with a 3. I used to not even be able to do my interval paces, my 400 meters at 3 minutes something. And I've just averaged 5,000 meters at 3:55 a K. Yeah. So when I saw that, that's when I thought, oh my God, I've done it, because I did the maths and I know there's no way it can be over 20 if I've averaged under 4. And it just felt amazing. I felt like some sort of celebrity, because 4 or 5 people, Lee Chesterton, local legend in Redditch, came down by the looks of things to watch. And he came down to the finish funnel and said, well done. And to quote Matt Runs, or Matt Haslam, as a lot of people will probably watch, he said after when he did a Manchester Marathon a few years ago, people were trying to say well done to him. And he said his head was just spaghetti bolognese. And that's exactly how I felt. I just couldn't form words or sentences. I was speaking to people in the video and then just going on to the next conversation. I must have looked so rude, but I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I was just euphoric. I was just not myself. I was just, I was in a massive oxygen debt, I think, because I didn't have any left in my head.
Yeah.
And it was amazing with people saying well done, and it's just a brilliant feeling. Absolutely brilliant. But I've got to give a massive honourable shout out to Mac, because Mac had tried to follow our group, and he's made a really good video about this.
Oh,
really,
if you haven't seen Mac's video, please go and watch it. It's just a proper raw emotion video, just saying it like it is, and just pouring his heart out into running, and just it shows how much it means to us as runners, and it's just a real genuine video.
Because Mac basically held on to pace for 4K, and it just didn't go the way he wanted it to, and I would recommend him watch it. And he came up, he finished his parkrun. It's not like he DNF'd.
No,
and he got his medal. He finished it. He finished his race as everybody should do, and he came and congratulated me, which was really nice of him. And I just know, I mean, people have been saying this to me for ages. Oh, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And it feels so unattainable and unachievable. But Mac, listen to me when I say this. You're going to get it. It's round the corner. It is so close. But just be patient. It's going to happen. Just accept it. It's going to happen. Because the work he's putting in is amazing. But the frustration of getting so close, it is, we've all felt it, is horrible, because it's you versus the clock, and it's no one else who can do this for you but you. And take it from me, who I thought I could never do it. You'll do it. You definitely will do it. And I know that sounds like something you don't want to hear right now, but it's going to happen, mate. It's going to happen.
Yeah. But I've said plenty of times, and I've said this to Mac as well, running is a cruel mistress. It can put you on top of the world, but it can also knock you over back onto your arse, and show you the reality of what things can be like. And but it's the way that you get back up and get back on that horse and try again. That's what shows your true mettle and what you are like. And I know what Mac's like, and he will properly get back onto that horse. He'll have to have a bigger horse than all of us, though, because his horse will have to be massive, otherwise his feet will be scraping along the floor. He'll
a
get back on
little
that
pony
horse.
like I used,
And he'll be galloping back into battle before we know it.
But he's going to be marathon training because he's doing Manchester, starting very, very soon. So he's going to be starting his block, and the fitness that he's bringing into that, I wouldn't be surprised. No, I don't want to. No, I'm saying I've started, so I'll finish. I wouldn't be surprised if he does better than I did in Valencia, in Manchester. I wouldn't be surprised, because the amount of fitness he's gained from his Telford 10K block and where he's possibly going to go, I think, this next 6 months of running for him is going to be absolutely huge. So, well done. And well done to Sam Bauer as well, who got in I think, 1954. And another honourable mention is to good old Ian Price, who I think did a 1959.
Oh, let me just check to make sure.
I'm pretty sure he did 1959.
And
Rory as well, Rory Hancock.
Yes, 1952 Rory did, and Ian Price did 1959. Yes,
amazing. So that was great, because we all sort of finished within 10 seconds or 20 seconds of each other. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
brilliant.
But it was an amazing feeling. And then we had a Spanish donut. Well, I did afterwards.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was quite enjoyable.
Which you said was
a bit wispy. But wouldn't you describe a churros like wispy? I would.
No, no. I'd say
I'd say it's quite wispy.
wispy.
Yeah, like a yeah, just wispy.
No, a
Can't
churros
really
is
think of.
a churros is a straight, long, like it's like a straw donut, isn't it?
But like
It's long and
churros,
thin.
churros are normally like fingers, aren't they? They're normally quite. When you get churros, you get them like big fries, don't you? In
Yeah,
where is it?
they're
Spain.
long straw like donuts. Yeah.
Yeah, but the way that they'd put them together in this donut was wispy, because it was like it was a hollow donut with wispy churros around the outside. I can't explain
Okay.
it. With
Okay.
icing sugar on it. You just have to take my word for it. It's wispy.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Go and get one on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
It was quite enjoyable. So a Spanish donut from Arrow Valley Parkrun Cafe. You will enjoy it. Tell me that it's not wispy. So and as well, we need to mention Gazmando, Gary
Yes.
Manders. He promised to be there to run, because he said he was trying to go for a time himself, but unfortunately he was ill, so he couldn't run. Then he was going to marshal, and to quote him, said he was going to abuse / encourage us. Said he was even too ill to do that, so he couldn't even be there to do that.
He is
So
back
I hope
out
he's
though.
feeling better.
Yeah, he is back out. I saw him on Christmas Day. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And of course we saw Rach as well, didn't we?
Yes.
So Rach came in at 22 something as well, so she did really well.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. She was the reason Mac got running again, because Mac was at the side trying to catch his breath, and when he saw Rachel come along in a friendly face, he jumped in with Rachel again and followed her to the finish.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I had a wicked day out the house last Saturday, the 21st of December. That was pretty good. The day I got my sub 20, attempt number 7.
Yes, lucky 7.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Your finish sprint was amazing, though, dude. It really was great. And somebody said you almost blocked him off, because me and Merv were running, and you had to like do a slalom through us.
Yeah. There's like, they really don't want me to get my sub 20, do they?
But
they want me to come back on Christmas Day.
Yeah. And what I like is on your video you've used a really flattering photo of me where I'm on the down step, so everything's just moving downwards, but you look beautiful floating through the air.
Graceful, flying feet. Yeah. It's all about me, darling.
Yeah.
It's like the bride versus the bridesmaids. You can't have your bridesmaids looking better than you as a bride, can you?
Exactly that. But you almost used a different photo though, didn't you, on your thumbnail?
Yeah, I nearly used my photo of a pacer that you might not have seen in the video of a lovely lass called Brenda. Who you sometimes see running through the fields of Arrow Valley, with a graceful little step. And when I was doing my thumbnail, basically there was only half of Brett in the photo that I used, and I just thought, right, on my Photoshop software, I can fill in the gaps, and I can fill in what the computer thinks should be there. So I did that, and when I did it, I laughed, no joke, for about half an hour. It was killing me. I could not stop laughing because it had turned Brett into a woman. I'm just desperately trying to find the picture. Here we go. So I'm just going to hold it up to the picture, get up to the screen. So sorry for any of you that are listening. So again, I'll do it this way. So there's me, hopefully with a bit of elegant. Oh no, I do that. So I've just ruined our thing now, haven't I? I can't remember. We've got a little note.
No. It's fine. Yeah. It's all fine. Don't worry about that.
If you look up to the corner, there's Brett. There's Brenda. Look, I just love how it's put a flowing ponytail. It's giving you a ponytail.
I know.
It's giving you eyeshadow, mascara.
That's the craziest bit. Is it's used the front bit of my face where I've got a moustache. And put
I just love this shit.
So,
I just think
yeah.
it's absolutely hilarious.
So it's guessed from my nose, my mouth, and my moustache that I must be a woman with with eyeshadow and a flowing ponytail.
Yeah, it's absolutely just phenomenal.
And
It's
my
just absolutely insane.
my other foot that it's made up is brilliant.
This is why I will say AI is unbeatable. Look at that. The shoes that it's tried to imagine. They look like the Wave Rebellion pros. Look at this. Look at the rocker on them. They're just missing a stiletto on the back, on the heel.
Yeah.
They're absolutely amazing.
So if anyone is listening to this rather than watching, we will put that photo. Andy shared it on our stories on Instagram, but we will actually put a post up with that photo,
Yes.
so everybody could see it. Because it's brilliant.
Yeah, it absolutely made my life.
Photoshop generative fill. Sometimes it works wonders. Sometimes, yeah.
You didn't come out of that looking too great, did you? So, I think maybe I should change my thumbnail to that one.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
And you know how, like, when you make YouTube videos, you always, a lot of the time, people say you get more views if you put an arrow with a word pointing towards it. I might just put, I don't know what to put. Like, should I put an arrow pointing towards you saying Brenda or something? I don't know what to do.
No, an arrow at the front of me saying Brett, an arrow at the back saying Brenda.
Or saying new shoes, best new shoes of the year, and just pointing to your shoes.
And my polygon foot.
You look like Crichton. Is it Crichton from Red Dwarf?
Yeah.
You've just got like angular features. Oh, that's absolutely hilarious. But there was a comment made by someone as well. Was it Matty Manchester as well? Matty MCR. We'll have to get to that in a bit during comments and but I think he took quite a liking to Brenda. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, so that was my sub 20. That was my day out in Yarra Valley last week.
And I'm pretty sure everybody listening or watching this will have seen your video of that sub 20. So, but if you haven't, go and watch it. And if you have watched it, go and watch it again.
Thank you. It's my most watched video of the year already, apart from Valencia, I think. So, but yeah, amazing. I'm just really, really pleased with it. And my camera stayed recording the whole time. So I was really pleased with that.
Yes.
And I got some footage from you and Mac as well.
Your Go 3.
Yeah.
You just press start, like record at the start, and it recorded for the whole 20 minutes.
Yeah. So it was a massive file. It was about 30 gig file.
That blows my mind that you can do that with a Go 3, because my Go 2, if I start it recording after probably, I'd say 5 or 6 minutes, it will stop recording because it overheats.
Yeah. It seems to have addressed that problem in the upgraded things, but there are things about the camera that I don't like so much. But the one good thing I do like about it is that it just records for long distances. Yeah. For long periods of time.
Yeah. Because I've never put my camera on my head, on my hat or anything. I always have it in my hand so I can press start and stop recording. And I just have to record. So whenever I'm doing a race, I have to record just short little clips. So all my clips are around 10 to 15 seconds, other than the ones where I talk to the camera and it maybe is 30 to a minute. Well,
here's the answer to a question that no one has asked me. How did I record the Valencia Marathon video? The answer is with two cameras.
Tommy 2 camera.
Tommy 2 camera, yeah. So I took both and I started with this one, which is the better one, which is the black one. So you can see where I've changed cameras. Well, I can anyway. If you look again, you'll be able to see. At 30K, everything goes this color. Everything goes pink because the white balance on this is so different to this or what I had it pre-recorded at. I tried to color match them, but I couldn't. And I finished the race with this, which was my old one. and I took this with me in my belt. Do you know that's one of the best pieces of equipment you can take with you on a marathon is a belt, a running belt, because you can fit so much stuff in there. And I took this with me, and when one was on my head, the other one was recording. Yeah. So when I took the other one off, I put the one that had run out of battery on charge. So I had something for after, and I've just recorded that conversation. So brilliant. So it's sometimes useful to have if you're like me and you like to record quite a lot of stuff. Because I don't know if you ever get this or not, but so many people, I'd say about a fair few comments now, 5 or 6 comments or something like that, have said, stop recording. You'll go quicker if you don't take a camera.
Yeah.
And I just feel like saying, that's my thing, man. Like, that is my thing. Like, my whole thing about it is sharing the entire experience, or as much of it as I can, because I don't really want to cherry pick the good bits.
Yeah, exactly.
And just only show you that. And I also am not elite enough to turn up to a race and say, well, I'm not taking the camera because, well, I'm just not taking it. Like, there's no reason for me not to take it, if you know what I mean. So people say to me as well, you'll go faster if you... I feel like saying this thing weighs about the same weight as your watch. It's so light. And what is the difference between me chatting to someone at 30K for 10 seconds or me just giving a little 10-second check-in of what I am feeling and what I'm doing? There's zero difference. I'm not expelling. I'm not exactly reciting Shakespeare. I'm not speaking for 20 minutes. Like, I'm not expelling that much more energy and making my heart rate shoot up considerably. So I don't. It's something I'll never do. I'll never not record. Well, I don't think I will anyway. I'll always take the camera with me.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you'll be the same.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is, when you think about it, Newport, what time did you run?
3:36.
3:36, and you filmed it with a camera, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Valencia, what time did you run?
3:21.
And you filmed it with a camera?
I did, yeah.
So is the camera slowing you down, or is it training?
I don't think it's making any difference whatsoever.
Yeah, it's the training that makes you faster or slower, not carrying a little tiny camera. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna stop recording the videos. So yeah, soz to a few people. And I feel like saying it's not much of a video. It's like, well, I mean, that's me sound like I'm slagging off people that just talk about races before they do it and after they do it. But it's like everyone's got a style. Everyone's got different styles. And that's just my style. Like, some people do, commentaries with a POV thing. I like putting some music to it and speeding it up, slowing it down, and checking in every now and again and saying what I'm thinking and stuff like that. Like, everyone's got different styles of the way they approach YouTube. Yeah. So that's just the way I do it.
Yeah. See, I always think about this on my videos. I always edit my videos and think, is this starting to get boring? Because every video I do is the same format, and every time I go through a mile, I talk to the camera and tell you how fast I've just run that mile. Every single video. And
you should do 100-mile race.
Should imagine. But yeah, every single time. But then I think, hang on, but that is the sort. That's what I do in the video. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether I should change it up and do something a bit different, or just carry on doing what I do, because
just carry on doing what you're doing.
It works. Yeah.
It's probably like running. As soon as you start changing something, it feels a bit weird, or you feel like you're doing something that you don't like doing. If that's the way you do it, that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't change a thing. So yeah. But I was going to say, should we mention enough about me? Unless there was a book coming.
No,
I was going to say, should we talk about you for a bit?
Oh yeah. Well, what I was going to say is slightly along those lines of, yes, I do normally in pretty much every one of my videos, every mile I go through, talk to the camera and go, oh, that was such and such a mile and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, on Christmas Day I didn't do that. I just pointed the camera forwards. I don't know if I could have said much to the camera, to be honest. So
No.
yeah, but yeah, so on Christmas Day, yes, I had a bit of FOMO with you, but I was inspired by you going all out, and I hadn't done an all out 5K this year, so I thought now is the last chance. It's the only time I can do it. And also with Telford, it was the only distance I hadn't PB'd, because I wasn't expecting to run a 10K race this year. And I definitely wasn't expecting to PB a 10K race. So when I did do that, 5K was the only distance I hadn't PB'd. So I was like, I'm going to have to go for it. And I just to try and collect those 5. So yeah, I went down on Christmas Day and I tried something a little bit different, just because I'd been listening to, again, Dan Nash's podcast. And I'd gone back to some of his older episodes. And one of them was about warm up before a race. And they were saying it works better for like 5K and 10K, not so much half marathon and marathon. But they suggest you do something called priming. So normally for a warm up for a race, you'd do a bit of jogging and then you'd possibly do a couple of strides and do your drills.
Yeah.
But they said that's not really preparing your body for what you're about to do in the 5K and the 10K, because if you just do that, you've not prepped your body for that, the pace you're going to start the race at. So if your body's not prepared for it, when you do that first acceleration and that quick start out of the blocks, you go into your VO2 max area, so like zone 5, so your anaerobic area. So you start taking away some of that anaerobic effort you have in the tank before you actually need it at the end of the race. Because the first effort to go off, you go into that red line, get rid of some of your anaerobic stuff, then you go into your aerobic for the most of the race. But you want all of that anaerobic for the final bit of the race when you're really starting to feel it.
Because that toe off, or whatever you want to call it, that start is almost plyometric, I suppose, isn't it? It's quite a violent force forward, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a bit of a sprint to get up to speed. So they said priming, basically you want to do
violent.
No,
probably not the right word.
You want to do, as your warm up, you want to do some threshold pace within your warm up. So Dan Nash was saying when he does a 5K or a 10K, he normally does about 6 or so minutes of threshold pace. So your threshold pace is what you can hold for an hour. So it's depending on your pace, it's around half marathon pace, just slightly quicker. So on the way down to Parkrun on Christmas Day, it's 2.5 mile down to Arrow Valley Lake. So I did the first 2 mile at my normal pace that I would run down there. But on that last half a mile, I went up to threshold pace.
Yep.
And basically what they say is by doing that, you get your body used to running at that pace. So when you then start that 5K, you get into that mode quicker, and you can then use your aerobic until that last bit where you need that anaerobic. So I tried that out on Christmas Day. So did half a mile at threshold pace, like about 6-minute miling. And it seems to have worked. I don't know.
Well,
I'm going to have to try it again.
I think there's probably a school of thought, especially with, well, I used to think this. What's the point in warming up before a fast effort or a hard effort? I'm just going to be wasting energy. That's probably what a lot of us probably think.
Yeah.
And it's doesn't work like that, does it? Because it's a different run for starters, because you get chance to rest in between the actual race or the run and the warm up. And the actual load that you're putting on your body is nowhere near as much as you'll be putting on it
Yeah,
in the race.
exactly.
So it's just like, you know, just introducing a bit of that effort, isn't it?
Yeah, but you shouldn't be doing it. So you finish your threshold pace run and then stand on the start line and go. You've got to do that and then maybe have 10, 15 minutes before the start of the race. So it's not a case of doing that threshold to the start line and then setting off because you're going to be out of breath. But so I did that. We set off at the start and it was a quick start, but we were all chatting on the start line because it was Christmas morning. We were chatting about what we were going to do for the morning, and then all of a sudden they went go, and we went what? And we all had to just sprint off the line. So that caught us by surprise. I set off and I decided to just go for it. I knew that at Telford I ran my fastest 5K of the year so far, and I went through halfway in 17:30.
Yeah.
Before that, my fastest 5K this year was 17:36. So at Telford, I don't know how I managed that, but I ran my fastest 5K of the year. So I thought, with that being twice the distance, I could possibly push on. So my PB was 17:16 before Christmas Day. So I thought if I can try and push on those 5 seconds a mile quicker, we may get to that point. So I set off and it was a quick start. I was probably in 11th or 12th place, like after the first mile.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to check to see what I went through that first mile in. Where are we? So I went through that first mile in 5:23 for the first mile. So I was like, I've gone out quick here. So if I've got a little bit of leeway to ease up a little bit, but not much. But it wasn't really easing up. It was more, man, this is starting to hurt. We carried on, and when we got round to that second lap, like you said, got to the musical notes, and I was like, right, I've got a lap here. I've just got to keep on pushing. There's no giving in now. There were points in that first lap where I was like, oh, come on, Brett, it's Christmas Day, just give it a rest. But I was like, no, because I won't be able to live with myself if I don't put in this full effort all the way around. So second lap came in. I went through the second mile in 5:40. So I'd gone off the pace quite a bit. That was 17 seconds slower than the first mile, but still within range of where I needed to be. So I was like, okay, cool. So then cracked on as we got round the back of the lake down that back straight, and we come round to go round by the sailing club. I was like, this is really starting to hurt now. But just got to keep on pushing, just got to keep on going. As we got to the musical notes, so halfway up that musical notes hill is, slope, whatever you want to call it. Halfway up is exactly 3 mile.
Yeah.
So that's where your 0.1 of a mile starts from. So went through that third mile in 5:35. So it was
so
mega close of where I would be time-wise. So then I just went, right, I'm just going to have to sprint as fast as my legs will take me. Didn't go as fast as I wanted to, but it was as fast as my legs would take me. I made some rather interesting noises, made like louder noises than you at the end of your 5K.
I'm so glad it's not just me that grunts like a pig when they're about to finish a 5K.
Went through the finish line, and I'd put so much effort in, I couldn't stop my watch straight away. So I just went across the finish line, took a few steps, stumbling forwards, and then stopped my watch. And then realised, because I didn't stop my watch straight away, I have no idea what my time was. So then it was a wait until the Parkrun official results come through and my text message comes through to tell me my time.
So you couldn't enjoy Christmas Day until about 11 o'clock.
Yeah. and then and then when my phone did ping, I danced around the house for a bit, and celebrated a 1 second PB. Every second counts, and
Of course it does. Yeah.
so 17:15 is my new 5k PB, which I'm very happy about, especially as this December I was going to take easy because I was coming back from a calf injury. I hadn't really done much training at all. I'd done one training session before Telford, and then I haven't really done much training after that. So to be able to 10 days after Telford go out and run a 5k PB, I am a very happy boy.
Yeah, that's insane. And especially as you knew you run that 17:30. Was it 17:30 during
30,
Telford?
yeah, at Telford, yeah.
Yeah, that's and because Telford was only 2 weeks ago as well, that was probably in your legs because you didn't expect it to be in your legs because you didn't technically train for it.
Oh man, my hamstrings, I said this on the last pod, didn't I? My hammies after Telford were in bits, but that was my own fault for doing the extra miles afterwards. But my hamstrings have been sore for the last week or so.
So 17:15, what is your average pace per mile then? Or what's that?
So
17:15.
According to Strava, I think I'm going to go to Koros because that will be more accurate. So average pace was 5:32 a mile.
Crikey.
Yeah.
That's fast.
So
that's and did you manage do you know what that last 0.1 of a mile was? Did you say that? I can't remember if you said what the pace was.
Well, it was I think it was 5. What was it?
Oh, what I mean was, did you limp over the line or did you kick hard over the line?
Oh,
or did
no,
you just I
kicked over the line. 5:28 pace.
Lovely stuff.
So yeah. So I did manage to speed up for that last little bit, but yeah, it was tough going.
I think my description of the musical notes hill wasn't far from the truth about it being like the north face of the Eiger, because that is one of the most notoriously dangerous and steep mountains in the world. That hill, it's not a hill, of course it's not a hill, but anything at 5k pace that is plus 0.1% and more of a gradient feels like a hill, doesn't it? Especially at 5k pace, and especially 0.1 of a mile away from the finish line. Like it is such a cruel mistress, isn't it, to get up and over that little hill. And those musical notes on the Arrow Valley Parkrun course are but the good thing is about Arrow Valley is that because of those slopes, there are some tasty downs, aren't there? There are a couple of downhills where you can at least feel like you can get back what you've lost.
Because on the first lap where you go on the big loop, so it's one big loop and then a short loop which goes next to the lake on the second lap. But on the big loop on that first lap, as you go past where you turn off for the second lap, when you go past there, it's pretty much gradually uphill until you go round Tovey Corner and it goes down that downhill. So that uphill, you don't really notice that much, but it is a good slog uphill. But then you get that nice downhill to the back of the lake, which is really nice. And
it's a cracker of a course. Yeah. It really is, because it's tarmac the whole way, which not every parkrun has the honour of saying. And it's only 2 laps as well, which I understand places like Stratford and Walsall are 3 lappers, which to me just sound like congestion nightmares.
Yeah.
Especially towards the front as well.
And a third of the second lap of Arrow Valley is on the inside of the lake. So you don't get any congestion on that first third of the second lap. So really the only bits that you're overtaking people or like the faster runners come against the people who are running a bit slower is that 2/3 of that final lap.
The last 800 meters or the last half a mile, isn't it? Really, something like that. Or the last
Yes,
half
yeah,
a mile.
it's
Well,
about
maybe more than half a mile.
Yeah, just over half a mile. Yeah,
the back straight, basically, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
But no, I just enjoy Arrow Valley because it is a very picturesque course as well.
yeah.
There's traffic free. There's ample parking. There's even an industrial estate opposite if you get there late. So it's like it's just a good it's a good place to go and have a good hard 5K, and especially if you're from the Midlands, everyone looks at Stratford and Walsall as the places to go. But I don't know, part of me just felt like rebelling because so many people were going, you've got to go to Walsall. It's the only place. Like Marm said this in his video, like it's the Monza or the blooming Brands Hatch of all of all parkrun courses. But I don't know. I just quite fancied doing it around Arrow Valley, and I'm really glad I did because I know the course well. I know a lot of the people there, or not a lot. I know a few people there, which is nice. And it felt like a bit of a home from home parkrun, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
because Worcester's my home one, but obviously Arrow Valley's the one I've done the next amount.
I'm very lucky to have Arrow Valley on my doorstep. It's a great one to have as a local, definitely.
Yeah, but on the subject of parkruns, I was thinking maybe because we've done a couple of like bonus as I like to call them videos where we've done where we've filmed like the Telford 10K, or you film my last run of my marathon block. Maybe we could visit a couple of fast park runs, and maybe we could go to these Warsaws and Stratfords and Long Eatons or whatever, and we could take the camera and see if we could do some bonuses around there, and see if we could do some because we do both enjoy a parkrun. We're quite fond of a parkrun, so that could be a good little project for us in the new year, maybe.
Definitely.
But,
that sounds fun.
But
then the rest of my Christmas day, after I jumped around the house celebrating for a bit, had a bit of a dance with the cats, and then I, in my Christmas tradition, got me running shoes back on and ran up to my sister's. So in total on Christmas Day, I ran about 17 miles, just over, and then so I'd built up a nice appetite to then eat my body weight in food. And it was a lovely day. Had a great Christmas dinner, had a sit down and relax, and then had some buffet food as well. Ate loads of cheese and crackers and Pringles and loads of desserts, and it was fantastic.
So were you in that perfect position where you don't have to cook, you can just eat?
Yeah.
And you just so no stress, minimum stress, maximum calories. I love that.
Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah, I mean, I love Christmas time, and just because spending time with your family is epic. So having that family time where you can just relax and do nothing really and just fill your belly is awesome. So Did you have
I was going to say, what was the highlight of one of the best things you ate on Christmas Day? If you can name one thing that you just really enjoyed. I've got one.
I'm gonna go for two, if that's cool.
Oh, that is fine. That is okay. I'll allow that.
My mom makes an excellent trifle. So
okay.
The trifle is always a treat at Christmas time. So that was one, and the other one was the roasties this year. The roast potatoes.
Okay. You're making me hungry. Yeah.
My brother-in-law. Perfect.
Soft on the inside, crispy on the outside.
Yeah, amazing.
Gotta be. Apparently, the secret is to boil them, and then when you give them a colander shake, don't worry about sort of getting them nice and sort of damaged.
Exactly what he did.
They're all damaged. Yeah. So for me it was. We made a last minute addition to the table was some cauliflower cheese, but we didn't put cauliflower in. We put broccoli in. Forgot to buy broccoli, cauliflower.
Yeah. Well,
so
cauliflower and broccoli cheese when it's mixed is incredible. So yeah,
Yeah.
broccoli cheese on its own would be amazing. Yeah.
Because cauliflower is quite naturally quite soft, isn't it? But broccoli, we part boiled it. Well, no, we boiled it actually, so it did soften up. Then we made a cheese sauce, and then obviously poured that in. Went in the oven for about 45 minutes or an hour, something like that. Got it out, and it was just, it's just that beautiful bronzed brown.
Oh,
Just
yes.
that, just looks sensational, and it was absolutely probably my favourite thing we put on the plate on Christmas Day. But yeah, did you see my turkey dash on the running red line?
I did.
Nearly missed it. Nearly missed my collection time. So I had to do 5K pace to get the turkey in my jeans.
Yeah.
Because we got ours from the retail park from the supermarket, and they must have. Everyone was going there for one reason, because loads of people were going towards the supermarket with an empty bag for life. And I thought, there's only one reason you're going, that's to collect your turkey. So everyone was just heading to like the start of a race, like the start of London Marathon. It was like that. And all the cars were gridlocked. And I had to dump it on the industrial estate. And I had to run. And I had till 11 till half 11 to pick it up. And I got there about 11:27. So I was quite pleased with that.
What would have happened if you had got there after 11:30?
Well, I think they probably just would have given it me. But it's good to add a bit of jeopardy, isn't it?
Brilliant.
No, you can't have it.
Yeah, Christmas is ruined. Sorry.
We're giving it to someone that can keep an eye on the time. So
brilliant.
But yeah, so it was good. We had a lovely day and night. Lots of food. I had a fair few drinks, which were nice. I tried a new drink, a little quite flamboyant. Instead of a Bucks Fizz, we had what we call a Trux Fizz. So instead of putting some orange juice and champers together, we had some tropical Tropicana, tropical fruits.
Nice.
So it was very bougie.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And so that was quite nice. So I had about way too many of them. I was actually pissed before Christmas dinner. I was pissed before 2:00. So I felt like full post Valencia Marathon Andy had come out to play.
Yeah.
And then at night after we'd sat down, I was in a bad way. I'd eaten so much, and then hit the red wine afterwards. Watched Gavin and Stacey. He was asleep by 10:30, 11.
Nice.
I was just so content, I think is the word.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
So that was pretty good. Good Christmas Day. So good fun.
Good. Yeah, excellent. Right, so shall we get on to some comments and emails, and within that we're going to have a look back over 2024, aren't we? And some of the best moments. So we've asked people to get in touch about their achievements that they're most proud of, or things they really enjoyed during 2024, so we can give them a shout out. So let's have a look at the comments from the last couple of videos, and then we can get into our messages and emails of that people have sent in. So comments. So we did read a few out from the Telford video from last week, but a few more appeared. So first one was from Q on the Run. So old TQ, who was also running Telford, and he's put, what a video. Thanks for having me on, boys. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Crash bang wallop.
Yeah. What a video. TQ, anytime, mate. It's always good to see you, mate. And then here comes Bod, said, bloody hell, that first wave was rapid. Well done, Brett, and all the other PBs. You look like you were working proper hard at the finish. Looking forward to the next pod to hear all about it. Yeah, I definitely was working hard towards the end of there. And hopefully we did it justice on our last pod. Then 2 running brooms. So John and Dawn, loved that, and not just due to the cameo appearances. You captured the spirit of the event perfectly. A superb morning out, whether you PB'd or dragged your sorry butt around.
Yeah, John wasn't too happy with his performance, wasn't he?
No.
Because he's obviously got high standards, but I think he did really well, and it was just
Yeah.
great that he showed up, and he wasn't feeling particularly great, but he got the job done, and fair play
Exactly.
to him. And it's lovely to meet him and Dawn.
Yeah, it was good to see you. Next one's from Man and Dog Outdoors. It said, great vlog. It's great to see the front runners fly around. Telford is my local 10K. Also, my first sub 40. I think my best round there was 36 minutes. Awesome. I know Todd had some great battles with him when I was at my best. I've since hung up my road racing shoes and prefer fell running and those longer mounting ultra stuff. Roads just bore the life out of me. Nothing keeps the brain engaged or to take the mind off the pain.
I mean, that is a fair point, isn't it? Sometimes you are road running and it is quite monotonous. And I think you have to become you kind of have to make peace with the boringness sometimes if you're running alongside the A449, or if you're running alongside a road that's just fields, or, doesn't particularly make you feel any kind of way. There is a kind of reliance on effort to get you through, because I mean, that's road running to a T, isn't it? It's not easy. You're not doing road running for the views a lot of the time, are you? You're not doing it for the wonderful scenery. So I do understand why a mountain runner would think road running's rubbish. I could totally see why.
Then next one on that video is from Helen Baker, and she says, well done on the PB, nice video. And that is Ryan's mom. So thank you for that, Helen.
Oh, amazing.
And also Ian Watkins says, nice one, Brett. So cheers, Ian. Then from last week's episode, we have one from Tom, H7R3W.
That's what his friends call him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's his model number.
Full of wires.
But Tom says, lads, happy Christmas to you. Been listening from the beginning. It's the best running podcast because of the discussions of your training, the details of your sessions, and overall how relatable your conversations about running are. Well done, and thanks for all the content. Thank you, Tom. That's
Cheers, mate.
That's great. It's really good to hear. Thanks, mate. And then the great 772 says, good luck, Andy. This is about your sub 20. I've got a 5 mile tomorrow, but expect to beat my 5K time within that. Gone 2 months without a race. Feels like forever. So hopefully, the great 772, you managed to get that 5K time within your 5 mile race. That's one hell of a way to try and break your 5K PB, isn't it? During
another 3K after it. Yeah. 3K warm up, maybe. Yeah.
So let us know. Let us know how you got on. Matt Southam then says, just what I needed for a run home to the just what I needed to run home to on a Saturday night after an evening in the pub.
Legend.
So amazing. Cheers, Matt, for listening. Gary Manders says, it's Christmas. I'll forgive you for that racket at the end. Merry Christmas, both. And then Boat Craig says, good show, Andy and Brett. 126 for your info. Celsius is metric / European and modern Britain. So Celsius, we use it in modern Britain, but apparently it is metric for all the Europeans.
Okay.
So that's why Americans use Fahrenheit.
Good knowledge.
And then Daniel Nolan says, hi guys, love the pod. Been listening since Brett's Manchester Marathon. Like you, Andy, I achieved PBs in all distances, 5K, 10K, half marathon, and the marathon in Manchester as well. Long-time listener, but never really known what to say on the comments because words can't describe how amazing you two are for the running community. I've started training for the Brighton Marathon and going to use you guys as inspiration to get another PB. Here's to 2015. Daniel, that's amazing. Thanks, mate.
Does Dan mean 2025 or 2015?
Yeah, it does say 2015, but yeah, it does mean 2025. We're going back 10 years. Yeah, we're going back 10 years.
You're living in the past, Daniel. Come on, son. Get a grip.
Wow.
It's...
But do you know what? That's the sort of thing that I'd do because, no way is it 2025. How
it doesn't feel right.
Already?
I can't believe in 3 days, 4 days' time, it's going to be a new year.
Yeah. We're a quarter of the way through this century already.
Don't.
Madness. Anyway, yeah, no, thanks, Dan. That's amazing. But yes, try and get up to up to date,
up to speed. Have a great 2015, Dan.
But no, thank you. Then Rob Scott says, Andy, your sub 6 mile is like your sub 25k. Now you've laid down a marker to show you can do it. I'm sure you'll push on, knowing that mental game is won. You'll definitely go faster in 2025, but important to dwell on the success. You've earned it. You have definitely earned it. So thanks for that,
Rob. Know, that's really kind of you. Cheers, Rob. And that sub 6 minute mile for me, do you know what one of my favourite things was? And I shouldn't really take much pride in this, but I do. A few people said to me, you'll do 1959. Your 5:51 is equivalent to a 20 minute 19:59 because I've typed it on VDOT calculator and this is what you'll get. And to do a 19:38, I just feel like saying yes, I did better than you said I was going to do. So that's why I take those VDOT calculators with a pinch of salt because I just think, to be honest, I think they're a guide at best, but they're certainly not gospel. In my opinion, I think they're nonsense. I'm not bothered about them at all. I think if you were pretty quick, you were like sub-elite, you could maybe start to look at them because you could rely on your body to perform in a way that you know it's going to perform in every distance. But for my body, how is VDOT going to know that I haven't had broccoli cheese for breakfast left over from Christmas Day? I haven't because I ate it all on Christmas Day. But how does it know that? It doesn't. It's an idiot. It is an idiot. So I don't think relying on that stuff is sensible. And anytime anyone says, well, your equivalent time is this, I just feel like saying, yeah, fair play, mate. But I just don't really listen. So that's probably a bit rude for me to admit that. But I've admitted it now. So Merry Christmas.
Thanks for your comments, but I don't listen to them.
But it wasn't you, Rob. Don't worry. But thanks for your because now I think about it, I think I could have done that mile time trial maybe 5 seconds quicker. Maybe I could have got into the 5:40s.
Yeah.
But I paced it essentially and then ran the last lap harder.
Yeah.
So now if I do a mile next time.
Which is what you did with your 5K as well.
Exactly. So next time I'm just going to look on VDOT calculator and see what my equivalent mile time should be and run faster than that.
Yeah. Brilliant. And last one is from No Bips, Just Bops. And it says, great ep, lads. The Strava segment motivates me to choose the tricky routes for my runs. And then I get a little reward listening on my long run if I've made the leaderboard. Absolute adrenaline buzz getting first on the elevation this week. So awesome. Well done with that. And then last little bit, enjoyed the bottom reference, gold, Frankenstein and grrr. That I knew it was grrr, but I forgot about the fact it was Frankenstein as well on the bottom Christmas special. So yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. But yeah, awesome. Thank you so much to everybody who comments on the videos. We really do appreciate it.
Well, we've had a few emails come in, and maybe we should take these in turns to read because there's quite a few. And as always, the emails are slightly longer than the comments. So we'll start off with.
I probably won't be able to read them out because I've only got that email on my computer, which I am recording on right now. I haven't got the emails on my phone. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll be pleased to know that this first one came in 2 weeks ago and we still haven't read it because we didn't get time to say it. But this is from Amelia. And Amelia is one of our Aussie listeners, I'm pretty sure.
Good day, mate.
Amelia starts off by saying, hello, Brett and Andy. What a ripper of a year it's been for both of you. I'm going to go full Lou Carpenter.
Yeah, I don't think she actually sounds like you, to be honest.
I could do the whole thing in Australia if you want. No, I probably shouldn't, or can't. Okay, so in all honesty, I lost track of how many PBs you two smashed. You both should be really proud of how far you've come. I look forward to learning about your 2025 goals and how much you can push the envelope. Whatever it is you're chasing, you can do it. I know that it takes time and effort to do your podcast, but I do hope that you realize how many people enjoy it. And I hope that you'll continue with it next year. Well, good news. We are. We're going to have a little break, but we are going to continue with it. Yeah. So wishing you and your families happy holidays. Now, Amelia's got some questions for us.
Oh,
question 1. We'll do them one by one. Brett and Andy, what is your favorite running shoe of all time and why? It can be any type of running shoe, race, daily, trail, etc. I'm especially interested in the reason, and you're only allowed to pick one.
I don't think that's even a question for me, is it? I
Takumi.
think you could answer this for me.
The Takumi Sen 10. Well, Takumi Sen anything.
Yeah, the Takumi Sen full stop, but I'd possibly go as far and say, yeah, Takumi Sen 10 is possibly the best iteration. I really like the 9, but I've now PB'd in the 5 and 10K and the half marathon in the Zen 10. It's just the best feeling running shoe I've had on. Not for marathon distance, that would be a completely different choice, but just shoe altogether. I love the feel of it, the way it fits on your foot, but the feel underfoot is just amazing. It's so poppy, so bouncy, just feels great. I love running on it. I look forward to putting it on my foot.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree. For me, it's between two, and it's between the Takumi Sen series and the Alpha Fly, which I've recently only worn a handful of times. The Alpha Fly, I would say, is because it's unlike anything I've ever worn before. And it feels just like it really was made for my feet. That's how it feels. The Alpha Fly 1, that is. But I can't really say that one because I've only worn it a couple of times. I've only worn it for Cardiff and Valencia. But both times I won it. I wore it. I got massive PBs. Both times I won both races. Both times that I wore it, I got massive PBs. So PBs that I didn't expect. So I would say that one, but I think it has to go to the Takumi Sen 10, mainly because the Takumi Sen 10 that I own, I've worn it 6 times, and 5 of those times I've got PBs. So for that reason, I'm going to have to say the Takumi Sen 10.
Yeah.
Brett and Andy, what are your honest thoughts of Sydney joining the majors? Does it dilute the specialness of the original 6? Do you like it because it broadens its global footprint? I'll be honest. I like it as well. I like it.
I love the fact that there is now one in that area of the world, and it's now becoming a truly worldwide thing, the world majors. And
can I also say, part of me really enjoys just annoying the people who are so smug about getting the 6 stars.
Yes.
Now they've got to spend 12 grand on a 3-week holiday to Sydney that they didn't expect to do. So, sos, guys. It's got to be Ripper. It's got to be Bonza.
Yeah, I love it. I do like the fact that the world majors are definitely becoming worldwide. I think they're going to try. Did I hear somewhere they've always had in their idea of there being 9 world majors eventually.
Yeah.
And they want one in every hemisphere of the globe. So, so you never know. There might be one in Africa at some point.
Yeah, Cape Town has been mentioned. There's nothing in South America, I don't think. So that would probably be the next a big area for them to look at. And I think there's been one in China, maybe Shanghai or something, or Beijing, or I'm sure I heard one of those mentioned as well. But no, in all seriousness, it's fair play if anyone's done the 6-star medal. But you must be a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
But you've now got to go to Australia to get another one because it's an addiction. You can't just be happy with your 6 stars. You're going to have to go and get a 7 now, aren't you?
I do feel sorry for people who have got 5 and they thought next year they were going to be able to get their 6-star medal because
Yeah.
they've now got to do 2 more.
Yeah, get the credit cards out, lads, because we're you're doing a world tour over the next few years, I think. Right, this one is Andy. Is sub 3 marathon on in 2025, or will you use next year as a bridge to go for something like a 3:10 before inevitably chasing 3 in 2026? That would be the sensible thing to do. But as we say week in, week out, when have we ever been sensible? I'm not doing a road marathon in spring, so I'm going to focus all my marathon energy towards the end of next year. But I don't know what shape I'm going to be in, which is why I don't really want to outline my targets for 2025, because you just don't know what's around the corner, and you don't know what work commitments, family commitments are going to crop up. So I don't really want to say, I'm going to do a 3-hour marathon and then just get nowhere near it. So I think for me, 3:10 was the sensible thing to do, sensible thing to chase. And like always, we'll see what shape I'm in, heading towards Valencia, which will be for me next December. And then I'll probably make a judgment call on whether that's attainable, or we think 3:05 or faster might be a possibility. But I think for me, it's going to be 3:10 is the focus, and not get too excited or too greedy.
I won't say the comment again about how you said you were going to sub 3 before 40.
Well, you just said it, so brilliant. Okay.
No, I said I wasn't going to say it, so I didn't.
Yeah, no one believes. No one will remember that anyway, so it's fine. We'll delete that episode. Brett, I remember you talking about your gym routine in one of the previous episodes. Which S&C exercises do you think helped your speed the most? Take it easy and happy running. Thanks, Amelia.
Ooh, well, I'd say it's got to be the goblet squats and the reverse lunges, because they're the only ones that I really put weights into, but they're the ones that really work the bits which don't work amazingly well on me. I seem to always have issues with my glutes and my hips and hamstrings and stuff, and those are the exercises that really work those. So I think they're definitely what help me be a bit more robust to go a bit faster.
Good answer. Cool. All right. Cheers, Amelia, for that. And see you hopefully next series. You can maybe write in and give us some more of your questions, and some of your maybe let us know if you're doing Sydney. Right. So this one is from Alan Dalby. Now, we've had Alan on before. He said, guys, a pleasure. Oh, no, we haven't had Alan before. I've met Alan. Oh, he talks about this in his email. Guys, it's been a pleasure following your journeys this year, and taking you out on my long runs really is like doing a run with a couple of mates. This year has been a blur, and I've really enjoyed many highlights. It's been the first year in running that I have had consistency and a plan, and it's certainly paid off. The year started my marathon training for Brighton, previous PB of 3:48 at Manchester the year before, which was at the time my first and possibly last. Laughing faces, as if that was true. was first time I had a plan with a long run workout, intervals and tempo. The plan worked to perfection, and on the day I came in at 3:34 with a 3-minute negative split.
Oh, yes.
Good lad. Following the confidence that gave me, I decided that I would try and get my half time down. Had been stuck around 1:41.42 since October 2022, and the sub 1:40 barrier just felt out of reach. My first attempt was at Worcester, and on a hot day in May, I failed to stay the course and blew up around 10 miles. With the summer weather not being great and banking on a little home field advantage, I booked the Redditch half at the last minute, having rained the day before, and I had some concerns about the off-road section at the end of each lap. But after a friendly chat with a certain podcast presenter, I went with the fast shoes, and the sub 1:40 was a good day at the office. And I finally got that monkey off my back and came in just a few seconds under my new PB and a mention on the next week's podcast. There we go. I think from memory, he went with his ASICS Meta Speeds. And I think I remember saying, go with the Meta Speeds.
Yeah.
It sometimes blows my mind how much you guys nailed a certain subject And just the other week, you mentioned that once you break a barrier, it doesn't seem difficult anymore. Following that day in Arrow Valley, I've completed Solihull and Cardiff in quicker times and currently have a PB of 1:38.02, so over 3 minutes, having spent 2 years getting nothing better than a 50-second improvement. I've spent the last few months building a better base to start again in 2025. I currently have the Andy Maguire Tour planned in 25, as booked Newport and Valencia with an aim to get another 15 to 20 minutes off the current PB over the year. If I can get under the half, the 1:35 would be a bonus, but currently no A race booked in for that distance. I might even venture into the odd park race, quick attempt, or a fast 10K, but having caught the bug, for me, nothing better than a 3-hour long run and the feeling you've got when in marathon training. Couldn't agree more. That has turned into an essay, but just wanted to reach out and share. Been following your journey for the last few years, and in your videos, podcasts, and Strava updates as a massive motivation for me. You're both complete hipsters. Well, one of us is. Comedians and top blokes. And each week, it's a pleasure to laugh along with you. Thank you for all your time and effort that you put into creating to this community. Have a great Christmas. I look forward to next week's episode. I've got a 20K progression run in the diary for Sunday, so anything around 1:45 would be good. Well, we're currently on 1:44.49. So there you go. Looking forward to running the red line down the blue carpet with you at the end of next year. Gents, it's been a pleasure. Aha, Alan.
Amazing. Thanks, Alan. That's awesome.
Absolutely brilliant. That's absolutely wicked. Now we've got one from Nick. Nick Points, who's written in again before. Now, Nick was the guy. Now I'll read his email because you probably remember Nick. Dear Brett and Andy, first just say thanks for keeping me company on my long runs this year. Listening to the podcast has become part of my weekly routine, and I suspect I'm not the only listener for whom that's true. Good use of whom and not who there. So yeah, big fan of you already, Nick. Well done. For what that sound like a massive knob for saying that. I love when people say whom than who, because it's just brilliant use of the English language. I really, really enjoy it. One thing I've been proud of in 2024 is being consistent with my training. I've kept up a steady base of mileage and been much better at S&C this year. My races have really felt the benefit. I've run PBs in every distance, including a sub 25K over the summer. When I look back, though, it's not the times I'm most proud of. It's the fact that I've been adventurous with my running. One of the high points was the 250Ks back to back over the summer down the Roman road that I wrote into the pod about a while back. Thanks again, Andy, for inspiring me. But I've got just as fond memories of those impromptu runs where a mate texts and says, I'm doing a half tomorrow. Do you want to join? Or a torchlit trail run spotting deer and foxes in the early hours of the morning, or running around London to see the Christmas lights. It's been a year where I felt confident just to get out there and enjoy the runs themselves rather than seeing them as the build up to a race or a PB attempt. Hope you both have a great Christmas, and I look forward to hearing more about your own running adventures in the new year. Jurassic Park. Nick, that's awesome, mate. Well done. And again,
awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, that's amazing. And your Roman Road adventure down from London was very inspiring as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
So this is from someone called Bradley Maybury, who wrote in on Christmas Day at 11:45, so probably full of turkey and after a few drinks. He says, "Hi gents, Merry Christmas. Hope you both had a great day. Congrats Andy on the 5K PB and Brett on the 10K PB, and also probably on the 5K PB that you didn't know about." I started running in April this year by going down to Parkrun. I've been hooked ever since and have done 33 at 10 locations. I'm yet to do any kind of official race though. Let's be honest, Parkrun is a race. My proudest achievement is the progress that I've made on my 5K time. Get this, going down from 24:08 in April to 17:06 for a Christmas Day PB.
What?
It's thanks to channels like yours that I've been able to draw inspiration for my training, and it's amazing what consistency and putting in the mileage can achieve. Big fan of the pod and both your channels. Keep up the great work. Well, Bradley, that's ridiculous.
Incredible. That's 7 minutes.
And 7 minutes off the sharp end as well. From 24 down to 17. Wow. That is incredible. Bradley, you've blown our minds off. You've blown our socks off, or you've blown our minds off.
Yeah. That's wow. Wow.
That really is impressive. So so well done. So this is from Chris Dorr. So a local Worcester lad who's written in. who's had a good year, and he has said, "Hey lads, one for the podcast this week. I started the year wanting to get a sub 30-minute 5K. This was unlocked by February at Parkrun, and then hitting the sub 30 over 6 times this year, securing a brand new 5K in November at Walsall Arboretum with a 27:29. Good lad, Chris.
Yes.
I then also had a 10K dream of unlocking the hour, was then secured at the Tatton Park in November, unexpectedly, 59:43. Oh, and how could I forget? I did my first brackets of many half marathons in Oxford, which he did in 2 hours, 24:08. What a fab year it's been. I've loved every second of it, even when I was on the injury list. Bring on 2025 and a fresh set of goals. Looking forward to having you again in my ears on the long runs. Running Adventures with Chris. Yeah, so it's worth mentioning that Chris has got his own YouTube channel as well.
Yes.
Called Running Adventures with Chris. And yeah, great lad. And he's made some really big strides and made some big gains this year. He wanted a sub 30-minute 5K. Now he's on 27:29.
I know. And the sub-hour 10K. So start off wanting sub half-hour 5K and then to smash out a sub-hour 10K.
Yeah.
That's, incredible.
And I think to just squeeze inside your target makes it even sweeter. When he got 59:43 for the 10K, that must have tasted particularly sweet. So fair play, Chris. Thanks for your email, mate. Moving on to Stephen Smith. So he says, "Hi guys, a very Merry Christmas to you both. I hope Santa brought you some new running goodies, or perhaps if you're anything like me, are hanging on for some post-Christmas bargains." Yeah, currently trawling sports shoes, mate. "I didn't manage any PBs this year, but I'm realistic enough to know that not every race will yield a PB. Sometimes you've got to settle for consistency, and that's what's happened. After giving me a shout out following the Loch Ness Marathon, I'll never forget Brett's look of amazement that I'd worked my way through 3 marathons by that point, with London and Edinburgh coming before. For a moment, I did contemplate whether I should bring the curtain down on racing, but where's the fun in that? That look of amazement led to me signing up for my first 50K, a trail race on an old railway line, now known as the Dover Way, with an overall ascent of 1,000 foot. This is probably the achievement I feel most proud of this year, going beyond the classic marathon distance, but still being able to race it like a marathon, given it wasn't significantly longer. Times for my 3 marathons and ultra were London 3:18, Edinburgh 3:23, Loch Ness 3:22, and the Dover Way 50K 4:33. Wishing you both all the best for 2025. I'll keep an eye out for Brett, as I'm also running London again, although with his pace, I'll be eating his dust." Stephen Smith. Merry Christmas, mate. And
amazing.
What a year of running. And that's really important to say that, sometimes me and you are guilty of this, that we're constantly saying PB this, PB that, and like it's all about PBs. It's not. You can get so much out of consistency, and you can get joy from running in so many different ways.
Yeah. I mean, I've run loads of races this year where I've not been going for a PB, and I've had just as much fun doing that as I have, when I've been going for that time. And I get the same amount of reward from it as well. It's just good to be out there on your feet.
Yeah. So, fair play. That was a great email. Cheers, Stephen. So this is from Stuart. This is from Stuart McKillop. Now, you might remember Stuart, who wrote in with an incredibly sort of vulnerable email about around about his mental health in the summer. And it was, it really sort of opened up a conversation for us. He's just put, "Good morning, Andy and Brett. It's Stuart, brackets, the email, McKillop. Hope you both have had a wonderful Christmas. Just wanted to say how amazed I've been by your times this year, Andy. We were on similar times, but you smashed me out of the park this year. Healthy motivation for 2025 for me. Also, how did Brett get that PB at Telford 10K, as you've been the dreaded injured word, which has hampered your training? Also, Brett, your running t-shirts are amazing. The detail that you put into them and the personal touches like the little note are just incredible to see, as you can clearly see that you take pride into your work and your workmanship is of the highest standard. So if Andy doesn't use you for merch in the future, well, we will have to have firm words with him during with the running gods about future PBs. I've got 2 quick questions, if you don't mind. 1, what training do you do in between training blocks as you need the rest, but also don't want your fitness falling off a cliff?
So mine was supposed to be take December really nice and easy, so I can start my marathon block in December, like fresh and recovered, and just do lots of easy running. That's sort of gone out the window. But from now, I'm going to do easy running. So I'm still going to keep up a decent amount of mileage. I'm not going to be up where I usually am, but a decent amount of mileage just to keep the legs turning and just keep it nice and easy so that when I start the next block, I'll be fresh and hopefully in a much, much better place than I was last year when I started the block injured. So,
yeah, I think for me, it's all about getting back up to speed. Well, not really up to speed. That's the wrong phrase. Getting back to the distances that I was at with lower intensity. So I'm quite looking forward to going on a long run. I don't think I've done anything above 10K lately. Well, I've got something to talk to you about in a bit, including these shoes that I've just cleaned.
Oh, yes, you have, yeah.
Because since Valencia, I haven't done many long runs or so. I'm looking forward to getting some nice Zone 2 stuff done, especially now my 5K's done. So I'm, looking forward to, just trying to roll out some more easy miles and then maybe hit in January with some more intensity. But for now, it's just going to be easy stuff, I think, for me. We hear a lot. I like the way that this is written. We hear a lot about Andy's running time aspirations for the marathon. But what about you, Brett? I'm beyond excited for you that you're both doing Valencia. What are you thinking about the time as you have time to get injury free, fingers and toes crossed, and the course speaks for itself? So if you could leapfrog London, have you thought about that?
So I have thought about it, and I think my target for London is to get as close to 250 as possible.
Yeah.
So if I can get close to 250, I'll be very happy. If not, just to go sub 3 at London would be a dream. So a target is to try and get as close to 250 as possible. B target, sub 3 at London would be ace. And then Valencia, knowing what the course is like, I don't know whether I should put this out into the ether, but I'd like to break 250. Yeah. So yeah, that is the aim by the end of next year to have broken 250.
So we shall see. It's scary, isn't it, when you start to look at your marathon time and you start to think about your goals for next year or whatever, and you think that's not far away from my half marathon pace. You start to think, but then you just work towards it, and yeah.
So I've been doing some research, and 6:29 a mile will get you in at 1:49.59. So 1 second.
2:49.
Sorry, I do this all the time, don't I? Yeah. 2:49.59. So 1 second underneath that 250, and that's 6:29 a mile. So to be 100% sure you're going to get under, you want to run a couple of seconds a mile quicker. So you're going to want to be running 6:27s, which is 20-minute 5K pace.
So that's 8 5K, sub 20-minute 5Ks.
Yeah,
and a bit more.
And another 2.5K, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 8.5 5Ks at 20-minute pace.
Yeah, that sounds like light work for you. That sounds like easy work for you.
Shush. But yeah, so that is the aim. That is the target. So we'll see.
Imagine though, 12 months time on the Valencia blue carpet if we both smash big times. No, don't think like that. Don't get greedy, Andy. But just think, it'd be amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It says, lastly, thank you guys, and I hope you promise that the podcast comes back, as I need it for my long runs in 2025 for my first marathon in Brighton. All the best,
Oh,
Stuart.
yes.
Yeah, we'll be
Amazing.
back, mate. Don't you worry. We'll be in your
Definitely.
ears in a few weeks' time. But yeah, all the best for Brighton training, mate. That's very
Yes.
exciting. I've got two more emails to read out. So this is from Rachel D.
Ooh.
And she says, "Hi, Brett and Andy. Just wanted to send you both a quick email just to say congratulations on your recent runs and the awesome PBs that you've both achieved this year. Rory and I both enjoy all your videos and following along with your journeys. Rory and I both hope to complete the Centurion 50-mile Grand Slam next year. 4 times 50-mile runs, getting to run on some iconic trails, and maybe another chance at the Autumn 100. Keep up the brilliant work, both, and all the best for your 2025 running goals. Thanks." She says, "Thanks for the t-shirts, Brett. They're perfect. A lot of love for Obi-Wan Brand today. Rachel and Rory. P.S. If we ever find a lost drone on the Malverns, we'll be sure to let you know." I wouldn't bother. I just keep it.
Yeah. I tell you what, Rachel and Rory, their running is incredible. The distances that they do is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, I said that I saw them at Parkrun last week, and I said I still don't know how you did that ultra marathon across the Severn Bridge. It was just over and back, out and back for miles and miles and miles. 30 odd, 40 miles maybe. That required some serious mental toughness, but you know, them two are well hard, aren't they?
Yeah.
So so this is the last one that we've got, and the email has just landed in our inbox in the last half an hour. And this is from Alan the Nutter Nutten. He's not called that. I've just called him the Nutter. Alan Nutten. He says, "Hi, Andy and Brett. I might be a bit late with this email for the roundup. Firstly, thanks for giving us the best running related podcast out there. You guys are funny, relatable, knowledgeable, and honest. Love listening whilst running. I run for Barnsley AC and have achieved multiple BBs over the year, breaking them several times over the year. It's been easily my best year of running in 5 years of doing it consistently. 5K PB at last week's Selby Parkrun, 17:42. 10K at the underrating Percy Pud at 10K in Sheffield early December, 36:35. Half marathon PB at Manchester in May, 1:23:02. And my biggest achievement, finally cracking a sub 3 hour marathon at the stormy Yorkshire Marathon in October, 2:58:42. I had failed by 55 seconds earlier in the year at Manchester. I'm the same age as Brett, I think, but I just keep improving and hope to continue to do so. I now have a good for age qualifying time to put forward for London 2026. Thanks again for the podcast, and I hope the season break isn't going to be for too long. We need those random ramblings and also a little bit of running talk. Thanks, Alan Nutten. Cheers, mate. Well done.
Amazing.
What a year that's been.
Alan. Yes, what a great year. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome work.
Have we got time? Well, we're going to have time, aren't we? There's going to be a long podcast, I guess, because we've got some Instagram comments to read.
Yes,
and we've got a very interesting segment called Brett and Andy's 5 most memorable moments of 2024.
Yes.
So yeah, hopefully we'll be sub 3. We should be, because where are we at now? 2:02. Okay, so where should we start then? Do you want to do some of the comments?
From the Instagram messages.
Instagram. Yeah, some of the Instagram DMs, or any shout outs,
Where did they start?
We should have talked about this before. Should we start from? Well, we saw Richard Woolley from Shrewsbury because he told us about his big 10K performance at Telford. We've got Adam Parr. Should we start with Adams?
Ooh,
Have you seen him?
Yes. Let's go for that. So he says, guys, thanks for the great content this year. Has been good to follow your journeys and have you as company on my runs. Have a great Christmas and New Year and your with your families. Looking forward to more pods next year. Thanks, Ad. That's amazing. I think Adam Parr is pretty local to me as well. So so thanks so much for your support, Adam. That's ace.
Mark Hurdy-Gurdy has said, you've got to ask Brenda how she is on the next podcast. Sorry, Brett.
Hang on. She'll tell you. I'm fine, thank you.
There's shades of League of Gentlemen about that, isn't there? What was the taxi driver called in League of Gentlemen?
Barbara.
Barbara.
With Babs Cabs.
Babs Cabs, yeah. So we've got what we got next. Matty Manchester, we've got to read that. Matty MCR89 about Brenda. We did promise we'd read it. Shall I read it?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
This is in response to me putting an Instagram story up about the photoshopped shot of Brett.
Whilst you read it out, I'm just going to put the image up on the screen for everybody to imagine.
So Matty says, 10 points deep, the Tash disappears. Good job, he's fast as so the boys can't catch him. Yeah, fair play, Matt. Nice one, Matt. Nice one, Matty. So we've got another one staying in the Manchester region from Matty Haslam, aka Matt Runs 18, who says,
yes.
What does he say? Enjoyed your podcast this year and your vids, Andy, and also Brett's. Merry Christmas, lads. Looking forward to many more of your chats and videos in the new year. Potential guest for us one day. Big fan of Matty Haslam, and great runner. And he always documents his training. Never goes too much in depth into the gear. Never goes too much in depth into the stuff, the frilly bits that don't really matter. It's always training, hard work, and graft, and that is the biggest thing that you'll find from Matt's channel. He's just a grafter.
And going out at stupid o'clock in the morning for his runs.
Absolutely crazy how he manages to do a 5K at 3 a.m. So fair play.
Yeah, amazing work, Matt. And then Adam Neal. A mention from me. Biggest personal achievement was running my first marathon at York in 3:18:16, and also being part of the sub 20 crew for Andy last week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
You have had an amazing year this year. So awesome work. To do that on your debut in the marathon, to run a 3:18 is your debut, is incredible. So amazing work, and keep it up. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from you in 2025. But as I said, on Christmas Day, he was disappointed because he run 2 seconds off his PB that he set 3 days before.
Yeah. Tell me you've got high standards without telling me you've got high standards.
But there we go. Brilliant.
Shout out to Kieran Turner as well, who didn't specifically write anything to us, but he commented that Christmas and Boxing Day is cancelled in this house. The lurgy has officially landed, and none of the oldies want to come around. It's wrong chat. So we hope you get better, mate, and I hope that you're not running for too long, if you know what I mean. I hope you're back out there soon.
Next one's from Sam Blackmore, who we should probably say has got his own channel as well.
Sam Hot Pants Blackmore. Sam Sweet Cheeks Blackmore.
So his channel is Sam Bam Gets It. Is that right?
Yeah. SB Gets It. Yeah, Sam. Yeah.
But he said, I got a 6-minute PB in the half marathon this year, and I ran in honor of my grandfather, who we lost earlier this year. I ran in his club colours, which made it extra special. That was at Cardiff, wasn't it?
Yeah. He got a Cheltenham Harriers vest from Cheltenham Harriers because they let him run for them, which I thought was quite a nice tribute because he was a big member of their community. Yeah,
incredible. So awesome work, Sam. And whilst you're doing it in honor of your grandfather, to then get a 6-minute PB is pretty special.
Yeah. Do you want to read the next one from the general?
from the legend that is Leggett Lee.
Yes.
Yes. So he says, I just want to say a massive thank you to you guys. Earlier this year, I packed up my running gear and honestly didn't care if I ran again or not. But one thing I did do is keep listening to your pods and watching your videos on YouTube. And I genuinely believe it played a big part in getting me back out there and eventually returning to racing. I want to say a thank you both massively and wish you nothing but the best and to get many new PBs in the new year. Keep up the good work. You never know how many people you're keeping going. Stay dangerous. So
Brilliant.
Amazing. Thanks, Lee. And it was, we said on the last pod, but it was so good to see you back out on the race course running at Telford. Yeah, massive surprise to see you there. But oh mate, it was awesome.
Just such a big character, and he's got such a big energy about him.
Yeah,
he's just such a good lad. And we still have never actually had an actual conversation in person. We've only ever run past each other. I ran past him at the Birmingham half.
Yeah.
And I think his words to me on that day was, Andy Maguire. And then we saw him at the 10K the other day, and we were shouting Zulu Army at him. Yeah. And no, he's just a great lad, and he's really supportive of what we do.
Yeah,
which is amazing. And yeah, love you, mate. And yeah, great to see you back out and staying dangerous.
Yeah, definitely.
This one is for Chloe. Now, Chloe, who we had on the chat just before her Valencia half marathon. Now, I don't know if you remember her saying she wanted a sub 88 half marathon. She says, thanks again for having me on the podcast back in October. My highlight is definitely my 85-minute half in Valencia. What a performance, coming in 3 minutes ahead of target.
Yeah, so incredible.
Chloe's a really good runner. Great girl. Go and check out her stuff on Instagram and YouTube. She's she'll inspire you to get your shoes on and get chasing some PBs. Yeah. So a really good runner.
She shows you how Instagram content should be done, not like me and Andy who just post stuff up there every now and then.
Yeah, I just post pictures of you looking like Brenda.
Yeah.
Why haven't we got 1 million subscribers yet? I don't understand. I don't get
it. Next one is from Chris Ellis, and he says, just messaging to say that your podcast has quickly become my favourite podcast. Ace. Cheers, Chris. Question. What made you both try Voom bars? I'm curious to try them, but wondering what made you try them in the first place rather than one of the larger brands. I hope you have a successful 2025 and please keep up the pod. Thanks, Chris from Galston.
I think we're going to have the same answer, to be honest, Chris.
Yeah.
We both basically got some freebies from the National Running Show in January. We got asked if we wanted to try some of this stuff we'd never heard of. And we said, yeah, all right. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't say I'd never heard of it because I know Kieran actually has used Voom before. So it's not like Sis or some of the other bigger brands like Morton or whatever, but they were fairly big. But I guess then they're not, Celtic and Rangers. They're not the top two, but like they've not got the massive marketing reach like a lot of the big brands have. But I just tried some of their stuff at the trade show, and I'm just thinking, this tastes delicious. And that was me sold. I think that was as simple as that.
Yeah, but basically, I've never been very good with gels. Gels have always sat a bit funny on my stomach, so I don't like using gels. So in the past, I'd always used power shots, which are like they're like Haribo sweets. But I'd always been looking out for something different as well. And when we were at the running show, we tried those Voom bars, and I was like, I could get along with these. They would go down pretty well. So tried them out, and I haven't turned back. Yeah.
They're my fueling thing of choice now. I think.
I've now bought several boxes over this past year. Yeah.
That's a good question. Cheers, Chris from Galston. Hayley, aka Runnerbean15, says completing her biggest achievement was completing my first marathon, accompanied by hours and hours of you guys on my long runs. Since then, training has gone to pot, but with a ticket to the Great North Run in September, January will bring a fresh start. See you there, Hayley. I can't wait. Oh, I should say, I can't wait, pet. So it's going to be it's going to be great. It's going to be great, man. The Great North Run is just a brilliant thing to target, to train for, because it's such a great race. So yeah, sorry to hear that your running has gone off the boil slightly since your first marathon. But yeah, I hope the incentive of training for something new.
Yeah. In no time you'll get back to it, and you'll smash out those goals.
Nice one, Haley.
Next one's from Tommy D. From
legend.
Over in the valleys.
Up the Swans.
He says, moment of the year for me was meeting Brett for a brief chat after the race of our lives.
Celeb spotting.
That was definitely up there. Yeah, who was the celeb spotting? I was celeb spotting. I saw Tommy D.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights for me as well. Yeah, just meeting everybody on the finish line. But yeah, actually meeting Tommy in person was fantastic.
Yeah,
So yeah, thanks for coming over and saying hi, Tommy, because it made that sweet feeling of a PB even better to share it with other awesome people.
One of these days, me and you, let's go down to Swansea and do their park run, because apparently that's one of the fastest around as well.
Let's do it
on the bay.
Yeah,
so me, you, and Tommy D. Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I think that brings us up to date. Oh, we got one more mention from Luke, who's just written. He's actually just written in. He's just about in the nick of time. He's written some details of what he got up to.
He's written an essay for us.
It's in 2 messages. It's in 2 DMs. And he says, if it's long-winded, I apologise. With some laughing faces at the end. Right, so he said, this is Luke H. Luke Henley. He says, had my first ever race on the 9th of June being the Bromyard Downs 8.5K. Came 15th out of 118, which if you know this race is one hell of an incline the whole way round. I kicked on from there. Sort of no clue in training, no clue on footwear and splits, etc. Just sort of winged it all for a bit. Then I went and signed up for the Cheltenham Half on the 16th of June. Only ever ran a half marathon in my life before this, so thought, yeah, why not? I ran a 1:44.47, a boring course, and ran in Hoka trail shoes. Then made me think about actually giving it a good go at running. Came 58th of a good 300 odd people. Sort of got the bug from here, and then I thought, really, let's hit what I can aim for, and for a few PBs on the way. End of June came another PB. I took on the Droitwich Half and got paced by Sean Green to drop a sub 140, which turned out to be a 138. Quite sure Brett ran this one as well. I did as well. I was there, so we probably saw each other.
Yeah.
Then,
but just quickly on that, my video of Droitwich is on its way. It's 2/3 of the way edited.
Right.
So it's only, what's that, 6 months late?
Just get it up in time for next year's. Then a brief breakthrough in July for Parkrun and to nurse a little injury. Then a brief break through July for Parkrun and then to nurse a little injury. I took on the Derby Half and got a 1:33.28. This is serious progress, isn't it? In August, which sort of made me realise that I could really do, which I realised I could really do it, and I actually knuckled down. Really worked hard and smashed the rest of my block ready for Worcester Half in September, where I PB'd again and actually featured in Andy's video, photo to come, of 1:30.15. I then thought, why not sign up for another half in Oxford in October, which again PB'd 1:29.11. No more races were booked until I was gifted a place at Telford, which was stupidly ill on the run-up, but somehow managed to bag a PB of 39.15. Overall, it's been a crazy sort of 3/4 of a year, but for me, to have done all these PBs and only been racing for such a short time is flattering for me at the moment. 5K 19:05, 10K 39:15, half marathon 1:29:11. Manchester Marathon booked for April.
Yes.
So all the best
amazing.
at LH. I hope you have
Yes.
I hope you've had a good Christmas, and the training will begin, as it
Yeah.
will for so many of you that are listening to this who are doing spring marathons. So yeah, good luck, mate, and good luck to everyone in training for Manchester and London and others.
Definitely. And also, just at the end of this, I do want to give a big shout out. We've spoken about Chloe, who came onto the pod earlier this year, but I also want to say a big shout out to Will, who was our first ever guest on the pod. Will Fu, whose channel is The Woo. Go and check that out because he puts out some awesome content. So thank you for that, Will, and also the Quiney brothers, Q on the Run, who also appeared twice. They are our first returning guests on the pod. Big shout out to those as well.
That'll be the answer to a quiz question one day. Maybe an end of the podcast quiz question.
Yeah.
So that brings us up to date with our comments, emails, and DMs. So thank you all so much for letting us know how you've gotten on.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support. Come on, mate. Over the past, it's been 11 and a half months so far. Of this pod. So thank you so much. We were having a look earlier before we started recording, and in that 11 and a half months, it looks like if we add up all of the views on YouTube and the listens on all of the podcast formats, we've been listened to or watched just over 50,000 times.
It's mental. Isn't that mental? Say that out loud.
I know, which is crazy. So, a massive, massive thank you to every single one of you who has interacted or just listened or watched over this year. It's incredible. I can't quite believe it.
And some of you OG listeners who have listened to all of them will know where one of those listens came from. And there's still to this day only one. And that's Uzbekistan. I listened to one and that was enough for them.
Yeah, thought, accidentally clicked on it and then, what is this? Turn it off.
So for any of you that do enjoy your stats, the outright and runaway leaders of listeners, this is just on the listening, not YouTube, was the UK with 23,000. That's 82% of our listens came from the UK. Second is Ireland. So close behind them is the USA. Literally 8 listens less is the USA. Then it's Australia. Then it's Emilia, who's listened to it 835 times. And then 5th is the Netherlands, because the New Zealanders just couldn't get into 5th place. So the Netherlands and Femke Bol have done enough.
Yeah.
And Patrick Kluivert, they've done enough to hold on for the 5th place. So,
amazing.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much. It's been an epic year, and I've enjoyed every second of putting this podcast together. It's been an absolute pleasure to do it. So to know people are enjoying it too, is incredible. So even
that night in a travel lodge when you had no Wi-Fi the night before Manchester Marathon, when you nearly ruined your own marathon because you couldn't go to sleep until it was uploaded.
That
fair play for that. Yeah, fair play for that.
But I was going to say quickly, you need to tell us about what you are going to do tomorrow.
Yes. So I washed my trail shoes, so got them nice and clean. They're actually on the radiator, which I know you shouldn't really do, but I've got to dry them off.
Aren't they your trail shoes that you said you don't like? And they're
these are my crap trail shoes that I hate. My Gore-Tex Night Peg Trail 5s, because tomorrow I quite fancy doing an ultra. So I'm going to run the Worcestershire Way from north to south it's become a tradition on my YouTube channel, and I haven't done it this year. And now this is the only couple of days that I've got to do it. It's going to be a mud fest. It's going to be a slog, but there is no way that I'm DNFing, and I'm going to treat myself to a Shimla afterwards.
Excellent.
But not if I don't finish it. So that's my reward for finishing it. So anything under 9 hours 30 is a PB. 9 hours 30. Why am I doing this? But it's just something I've got to do. I've just got to do it.
But as I said to you yesterday, all you've got to do is just not sit and eat a Mars bar for half hour.
Last year, that's why I didn't get my PB last year, because I sat on a wall and had my lunch, and I couldn't get back up again. So yeah, this year I'm going to try not to do the same.
Yeah.
But no, I'll make no promises. But and what's annoying is now we've moved house, the trail goes like a mile away from our house. So I could just call it quits at 40k, but I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm going to make sure I get it done. So I'm going to start from Bewdley in the morning at 6 a.m. So I'm going to go up there, park the car, and then I'm going to run to Great Malvern, and then Laura's going to take me back up to Bewdley, and I'm going to drive home, and then hopefully order the Shimla as I set off home. Hopefully there'll be a lovely Shimla waiting for me when I get home.
Amazing.
So that's the plan. That's the plan.
Good.
So yeah. This is all feeling so rushed because we're at 2 hours 24 and we're nowhere near the end yet.
Yeah.
Do you want to
quickly? Tomorrow, I am going down to Parkrun, and fingers crossed he will be there and he'll be in good form. But we are going to have an attempt at getting Jacob, the world's fastest 7-year-old, under 20 minutes for Parkrun. So fingers crossed he's feeling up to it, and his dad brings him down, and we shall see what happens. But yeah, hopefully.
Now that boy is a local legend. He's a serious legend, isn't he? Such a nice kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good luck to Jacob tomorrow. I hope you do well.
Yeah.
And if you've got anything to do with pacing, then it should be a foregone conclusion. Should be in the bag. Before we get on to our final Strava segment for 2024, we just quickly wanted to run through our 5 most sort of memorable moments of the year. Have you got 5 that you could choose from?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Do you want me to, or do we want to run through 5 each, or do we want to do it in turns?
Should we do it in turns?
Okay, go on then. I'll go first.
All right.
I'm gonna say my in at number 5, just because it's my favorite. Well, one of my favorite races of the year. I love it, and I'm gonna try and do it every year if I can. And it was the Two Castles run. Just a great day. It's such a good race. Even I was injured last year, and I went and ran it easy because I just didn't want to miss out on that race because it's so good. So just because it's such a good race and such a good day out. Yeah, Two Castles run.
It was so good that I did it with COVID. I probably should admit that on the podcast. I think I just finished having COVID, but I was like, I can't miss this race. By the way, I definitely didn't have COVID. I think I just had it. I did enjoy it. So my 5th one is between 2, but I'll say them fast so you can't stop me. Number 5 was the Maverick race with Daisy, which was the one I did down by the beach, which was me and Daisy just drove down to the seaside, and we did like a 15k or whatever it was, 10 miles run around the cliffs and the sea. But I couldn't choose between that and the lesson that I learned on the Warwick Half Marathon fail, where I got a bad tummy after the first 100 meters because I'd eaten too much pasta the night before, because I tried to carb load the night before. And that lesson I learned from nearly shitting myself was invaluable. So those 2 moments were very memorable for different reasons, but they come at number 5.
Excellent. Number 4 for me, I'm going to say number 4 was the Worcester Half, where I PB'd my half marathon distance and broke 79 minutes, which I didn't even think I would break like 80 minutes this year, and I broke 79 minutes and ran a 1:18:40. So yeah, very, very happy about that. And yeah,
That's
it was a great morning.
mega performance. It was a good day that day, wasn't it? Good
It was,
weather
yeah.
and good
Yeah.
atmosphere in town. Yeah. For me, it's on the half marathon distance, but mine was my Cardiff half. It was the first time I'd worn my bloody alphas, my alphas
Yeah.
covered in someone else's blood, and I smashed my half marathon PB by 2 minutes, which I'd got the 3 weeks before at Worcester, and I got in at 1:33. And my favourite moment was just the flying finish. I remember just seeing the finish. The crowds were so raucous, and I remember just flying, just feeling like I was flying. Like I started hard and I held it. The last 3 miles really, really hurt, but I remember just finding something to have a kick at the end, and I really enjoyed my my time in Cardiff. So yeah, that was number 4.
Nice. Number 3 for me was Bushy Parkrun 1000.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So it just the whole experience of going down to like Parkrun Mecca, and
Yeah,
the birth of Parkrun, and running it with that many people, pushing you to your limits through the crowds. It was just the atmosphere was awesome. I really enjoyed that. So
yeah. Bushy was wicked, wasn't it? And being around that many people, was it 6,000 that day?
yeah, so, yeah, over 6,000 people.
6,000 at a Parkrun.
Yeah.
And that funnel. Some people say that funnel has still not come to the end. There's still people in that line.
Yeah, still trying to write barcodes on lottery tickets. No, raffle tickets.
On leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was good fun. For me, and number 3, now this is where it starts to get tough, but number 3 has come in with my 5K PB sub 20. Getting that last week was something I never thought I could do. And having mates around me help me get over the line was just, again, was just like something I never thought I could do. But sometimes that is the help that you need. If pacers are available to you, and if anybody says to you, I will pace you to help you do this, accept it. Say yes. Don't just get over yourself. Swallow your pride and just get people in to help you, because sometimes you can't do it all on your own. And days like that made me realize that this is not a solo sport. This is a team sport. And so to you, Merv, Harry, Ryan, Ad, Dan, Sam, Mac, Rachel, Rory, everyone that was there, and Andy Goldsby, the run director, everyone that was there just made that, I guess, milestone get smashed. And it was something I'll never forget.
Amazing.
Loved it.
That was very close to being in my top 5. Was
it?
Saturday's Parkrun. Didn't quite make the cut because instead of that, I chose for my number 2 the 1st of January 2024.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
And I chose the 1st of January, where we went to Wyre Forest Parkrun.
Yeah.
And load of us were there. It was great fun. I had a really good parkrun. I was coming back from injury, so I ran it with you. You set a PB on one of the segments up one of the hills.
Yeah.
Which was good fun. But the reason I have put that day on my number 2 of best moments of the year is at the end, as we were walking to our cars, I went, Andy, I've had this idea. How do you fancy starting a podcast? And you went, yeah, we could do. And I said, yeah, it's just me and you chatting crap about running. What do you think? And you were like, yeah, sounds like a good idea. And then later that day, I got a text message going, so what we could do this, and we could do this, and we could do this. And I was like, yes. What could we call it? What could we call it? And that day basically turned into what we are recording now. So yeah, one of my highlights of the year was the birth of Running the Red Line.
And it was literally just a few words exchanged in a car park.
Yeah.
Do you fancy doing a podcast? Yeah. All right. See you in a bit. Bye. Here we are. So yeah, that's mega. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, nice one. Well, for me, my number 2 because between 1 and 2 is very, very tough. But number 2, this might surprise some people, is the Valencia Marathon.
Oh,
I got it done in 3:21:01. It was a 15-minute PB from Newport. It was massive for me because I'm going to sound a bit wimpy now, but I was massively anxious about traveling on my own and connecting flights and being in a foreign country and all that sort of stuff. And that all added to the worry of won't I be able to do this, and will I just hate the whole thing? And but everything ended up just going really well. Met some amazing people out there, including Will, and just spent some time with some just absolutely brilliant people. I ran really well. Pound for pound, it was probably the run of my life. And it was just a wonderful city, so much so that I'm going back next year with you. So I don't have to do it on my own. Yes. So I've got so many fond memories of Valencia, and just still riding that wave of positivity from it.
Amazing.
And I can't wait for you to experience the blue carpet next year.
Mate, I can't wait either. I can't wait. My number one, I don't think there's any surprise here to anyone what my number one was, and it is the 14th of April, 2024, up in Manchester. The Manchester Marathon was just incredible. Just from the start all the way to the end of the day. Amazing. Traveling down to the start with Andy and then losing him on the start line. We were supposed to run it together, completely lost him. With
Andy Devine.
With 5 minutes to go. Andy Devine. And he ended up having a great race as well. So it all worked out okay. But going down there with him was great. We met John and Dawn as we were dropping off our bags. And then the race just went perfectly. I met Chris on the course, who was running in Crocs to break the world record. And then I met so many awesome people at the finish. I met Will for the first time. I met Tommy D. I met loads of people at that finish line. And just the atmosphere there, along with running the best race I've ever run, was just next level. So that is my number one. It's gonna be tough to beat the feelings I had on that day in Manchester.
It was a brilliant run. That was absolutely awesome. You need to do the trilogy one day, don't you? So you need to go back. To get your third Manchester done. But no, fair play, brilliant day, and we love the podcast surrounding it. Some of our biggest numbers of listenings to the podcast have been around Manchester, haven't they? Around that April. So I think a lot of people tuned in to know how you got on and your training and all that sort of stuff. So for me, number one was when I ran 102 miles over 3 days from Chipping Camden down to Bath. When I ran the Cotswold Way, completely self-supported. Well, does that count if your wife runs around after you in a car? I don't know. And I split it into 3 ultra marathons, and I ran them back to back. And it's something I never thought I'd be able to do. I had a couple of days off work. The weather was good. I had nothing in the diary in terms of a race. So I thought, if we're going to do it, let's do it now. And I just had so much fun planning the aid stations where Laura would meet us. So where the trail would meet a road, and where we'd find lay-bys on Google Maps, and, all that sort of fun, what 3 words kind of stuff. The logistics were equally fun to plan. The fueling, the camping that we did. We literally camped in a field, which is awesome. And the feeling of running to Bath and finishing at Bath Abbey and standing on that stone that marks the end of the trail was just a magnificent feeling. And what it was for me was just a sense of adventure. And when you run an A to B style thing, you realize you passed a point of no return after a while. So you might as well just carry on and finish it. And I managed to get it done. There was no medal. Laura bought me this from a gift shop, which I'll always carry, which is my Bath key ring. And that's my medal from the day. But I've got so many fond memories from that weekend, which was the solstice weekend in June.
Amazing.
And 102 miles, 164k in 3 days. So I loved it.
So good. So good. So good. And they were monster videos. They must have taken so long to edit.
No, it's the opposite. Because
really?
there was no music. There was nothing, I don't think, as I think back. So it's just click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. So they're the easy ones to edit. The long ones, when you watch them, is when I can't be asked to edit them. The reason I make long videos sometimes is because I want the viewer to feel like they're there, and hopefully not get, if they make it through the first 5 minutes, then hopefully I'm thinking, right, they're going to stick around and watch a lot of it. And when I don't put music, fluffy music around it, or text or fonts and things, that's because I want you to feel like you're there, and it's like an immersive kind of feel, which is why I made it like a longer form style thing. And sometimes it's so hard to tell a story of a massive event in 6 minutes that you just want to make a long video.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
RIP my hard drives. But
well, talking of that, RIP my hard drive, because we are now on 224.
Oh God, this is definitely a PB. You're witnessing a PB.
So to finish off, we need to do the Strava segment.
It's so creepy every time, but I love it.
So the final Strava segment of 2024, we will have our top 3 from last week. We have in first place Kyle Blacketter, and he ran 74.9 miles.
That's decent.
Congratulations.
Christmas week.
I know.
That's decent around Christmas. Fair play.
Yeah. And then second is Ryan Baker, who ran 68.2 miles.
Yeah.
So one of your pacers getting the miles in. And then third was Nathan Hampson, another one of the ace people that I met at the end of Manchester, with 62.1 miles. So well done to you 3. The climbing top 3 this week, we have in first place Stephen Smith with 4,081 foot. Yep. Second place is a guy called Brett Elsmore. With 3,743 foot. So me in second, and Kyle Blacketter, who was our distance winner, came third with 3,655 foot. And then our top 3, and I've done some planning this week.
Oh,
so our top 3, number 1, first place lady, was Chloe Hamard with 56.1 miles. Second was Victoria Lee with 44 miles, and third was D. Cook Rees with 41 mile. So
amazing.
Congratulations to all of those people. And I don't know if you just noticed, but Boba decided to I
didn't want to interrupt you. I saw him setting to coil those back legs to fire himself up, but I don't know if he's caused any damage. Or is it just emotional damage?
Are you going to say hello, Boba, on the last one of this year?
There he is.
Say hello. Hello.
Oh, hello, Bobes. What a face. So, there we are then.
Yes, we have reached a new PB for running the red line. We are going to hit 2:45.
Yeah, so you're maybe going to run a marathon close to that time one day. Imagine someone could listen to this podcast and run a marathon. That's how long they are. Bloody hell.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Well, I genuinely don't know how we do it.
No, I don't either.
I don't know what we've talked about.
I thought we were going to talk about your sub 20 and my Christmas Day parkrun, and we'd probably be 20 minutes, half an hour in, and then we'd get enough time for all the comments and emails and stuff. But we were over an hour by the time we'd finished talking about them.
What were we talking about before the 5Ks? Christmas Day. Talking about Sam's hot pants for a bit.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah.
Pigs in blankets and stuff. My cauliflower broccoli.
Yeah, your broccoli cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
You didn't even
mum's
mention
trifle.
Yeah, mum's trifle. Yeah.
Yeah. Wallace and Gromit. I didn't manage to see it on Christmas Day, so I'm gonna have to watch it tonight.
I did enjoy that. Yeah, it was good.
So, yeah, but yeah, with almost 2:45 on the clock, we should probably wrap things up for the end of 2024.
Yeah.
We really, really do appreciate every single one of you who tunes in each week to listen. All of you who interact and send us messages or comment on the videos or speak to us in person when you see us. It's incredible to get feedback and just chat to people who are into the same things as us. The running community is an incredible place to be, with some incredible people and incredible characters. So yeah, thank you one and all.
And I'm just mega grateful for you guys, and you make us feel like celebrities. It's brilliant. Oh, it's amazing. Like when we love, I know not from an egotistical point of view, but if any of you ever say in person, oh, we listen to the podcast and stuff, it is the most flattering thing. It's amazing to hear that people are listening. And it's even more amazing to hear people say things like, you don't know how many people you're helping, because I just feel like we're just talking about Christmas puddings or whatever we're talking about. I don't realize we're actually doing any good. We're just talking, but if it is doing any good for anybody, then that's amazing to hear. But all we want to know is that you guys are happy and healthy and enjoying your running. And I'm sure you all are, because we certainly are. And we've had a good year. So here's to 2025, baby.
Yes. And we will be back. We're taking a couple of weeks off, aren't we? But we will be back, and we will see you all soon.
And the focus will be about Brett's London build.
Ooh, yes. But thank you so much to every single one of you for tuning in over this past 12 months. And we will see you next year. Cheers, guys.
Take it easy, everybody. Have a happy new year.